set to go now for this big qualifying final. Port Adelaide and Central District. Arnold coming in from the right and Chalmers coming in from the left. This should be a terrific game of football. Spalding gets his hand on the footy. They converge on him. Ingerson is there. And already a few surprises, David Mackay, with Ingerson in the centre somewhere.
Ruck roving today, and you would have expected perhaps that he would have lined up at centre half forward or perhaps in a forward pocket, but no, they're going to ruck rove him.
And of course the Bulldogs have Reimers sitting on the bench. They opened up with, or at least they named, a very tall half forward line, and they couldn't go in with that. This is Potter, well claimed by Stephen Williams, who tackled so very, very well.
And that's fair enough. Remember that Reimers came on about 4 weeks ago against South Adelaide at Adelaide Oval and turned the tide of the game when he came on at centre half forward.
Stephen Williams, an awful looking kick. Scott Stevens short circuits it. Good piece of work in the centre there. Amidst a whole bevy of players, it ends up in the hands of Roger Gurdon. Shoots out the handball now to Scott Stevens into the full forward line. The first sortie forward. Well done, Roger Delaney. Always cool under a crisis. Here's Lewis, who's lined up in a forward pocket. Roger the Dodger gets to the ball first, gets a free kick at halfback.
Delaney now to clear this football away from the dangerous halfback area. Here's Rowan Smith, who's had such a very good year. Spalding very consistent. McKinnon comes at him. And Spalding on the wing on this western side of Football Park. Gets on with it in a hurry. Kicks inside 50. Hodges. Well, the mark is taken by Herrera at the back, but the free kick has to go Hodges' way because Windsor was in his back.
Well, that's what the umpire adjudicated. And not only was he in the back, he was holding on as well. The umpire was right on the spot. Hodges hasn't been in marvellous form in the last few weeks. 114
goals so far, 7 last week. And Scott Hodges, one of the favourite sons at Port Adelaide, will kick from around about 45 metres out on a 45-degree angle. No score yet. 2 minutes gone first quarter. There's Scott's kick. It drifts across the face, and it's not one of his better ones. Out of bounds on the full. No, it's a behind.
Just takes a little while to settle down. Scott Hodges has been under an injury cloud the last 3 or 4 weeks. But he really has answered his critics with 7 goals 4 against the Eagles last week. 10 goals 3 the week before against Glenelg, where he kicked his 100th goal. And in that match, he shouldn't even have played.
Football Park absolutely bathed in sunshine as Windsor brings it into play and finds skipper Roger Gurdon inside of halfback. Gurdon sits down on it and kicks a little high towards centre wing, smashed away by Chalmers. Not very far though, well done McGowan, he's very constructive. Healy, left leg towards half forward. Now Borlase has got the sit, will go for the spoil I would imagine. Tyler it was, couldn't do much with it. Here's Hanley. Off of the ground and very quickly forward. Good chance for Delaney, little shove out just at the right time, and he's given away a free kick. Just at the wrong time, mate, that.
Well, he's not happy, Roger, at all, and umpire Michael Abbott, who's officiated in 209 games, has got plenty of experience, reckons that that's a push. Now, I probably have to agree with him when you look at it in slow-mo. But Roger wasn't happy.
Always demonstrative is Roger. Richardson, who has 77 goals for the year, is such an important player for the Bulldogs. If he can get amongst them today, one senses that they can do okay. Very much the underdog is the Bulldog today as Richardson has a look at them. He's usually pretty good. Great start, I'd say, if it's gone through, it has. So Centrals are away. They go to a 5-point advantage. 1 goal, Port Adelaide at 1 point, and the Bulldog fans love it.
Well, Richardson would love this too, a former Port Adelaide player. He couldn't get his opportunity behind Tyler, Hodges and Pedler, so he decided to go out to the Bulldogs with his great friend, Michael Wakeland, and it's paid dividends for him and the Bulldogs. Now, Roger wasn't happy with the decision, but Richardson is deadly.
Central a 1 goal, the Magpies 1 point, just 5 points the margin. We've played 4 minutes of the qualifying final. Here's McKinnon, he is a thoroughbred, isn't he? Short kick into the centre, not his best though, and Chalmers able to wrap it up. Stevens standing the mark. Chalmers kicks into Stevens' hands, not a good option there. Chance now for Ellis, gets it to Potter. Potter with a long kick, and Wakeland, and he takes it easily. Darryl Wakeland clears it away toward the far side of the ground, not a good kick, a turnover again. And Roger Gurdon puts it into the right forward pocket for Central District. Here's Cook. Chance has to get around Wakeland. Has too much class for him and too much pace. Good kick and a terrific mark to Richardson.
And a good start to the Bulldogs. Now, confidence is a wonderful thing. They've lost, 5 of their last 6 games, the Bulldogs. Their form coming into this match has been horrible, but the opening 4 or 5 minutes of this quarter suggests they might be able to make amends.
Look at the run-up on Adam Richardson. He's going to run about 25 metres here. I reckon he'll kick from about inside 50. Let's have a look at him. Yes, he does, from 48 metres. Long kick by Richardson. Well, the build-up was pretty big there, but a bit of an anti-climax. He misses to the right-hand side. 6 points the margin.
The question was asked why he takes such a long run-up, and he responded by saying that earlier in the season he kicked into the man on the mark and he vowed never to do that again. And he feels it just gives him a better flow coming into goal.
Can't see there's much chance of him kicking to the man on the mark when he goes back 45 metres. Wonderful forum for football. Football Park qualifying final day. And Port Adelaide quickly have established a very, very fierce combat with Central District. This is Ginniver in the middle of the ground, up towards half forward. Spectacular leap from behind by Wakeland, couldn't pull it down. Series of handballs, McKinnon from hands and knees, can't get it. Stephen Williams turned around like the Queen Elizabeth. Off the ground goes Potter, half forward. Sitting himself in the front spot was Tyler, couldn't take it. Beautiful handball. Comes out to Healy, should settle and kick the goal. But he misses.
He hasn't seen a lot of the goals this year, Daniel Healy. He's only kicked 5 goals in his, 18 games. But he is a runner. He's a player that if he can be used as a runner is devastating.
7 points the margin. They've started pretty well, haven't they? Central, Delaney's kick is low, gets good distance with it. Fiacci, his mate in the back pocket. He's down from that position. Long kick out very wide to McKay, who's had a very good year. Sweeps the hand pass to his captain, Ginniver. And Ginniver runs through the wing toward left half forward. Good kick for Scott Hodges. Good football, Port Adelaide. Hodges on the end of it in the left forward pocket.
Port Adelaide do that better than any other side. They run it down the centre of the field and they square it up to Hodges. He really lets them down when they deliver the ball like that.
Really gritted the teeth in, Hodges. There's the kick from the champion full forward. Up they go, very close, and Pedler's taken a mark. No. Umpire said it was touched. Melikellis has a shot, and he misses everything. No, he gets it behind to that right-hand side.
And that was definitely touched. There was no doubt about that. Darren Smith went up, just got a fingertip to it. It came off fingers, and Pedler claimed the mark. It wasn't one.
Wakeland gets it from Windsor. 6 points the difference. Central have the advantage. This is Chalmers on centre wing. Does it well with brute strength. Here's a very complete footballer. Gets it to Melikellis. Chip short. Was it touched en route? No, it wasn't. And Darren Smith's got it 40 metres out from goal.
An important player, isn't he, David?
Well, John Cale will tell you that when Port Adelaide have won big matches, Darren Smith has been pivotal. And when he fires, the Port Adelaide forward line looks so much better.
Now Darren Smith, they're not easy from here. Should take a slice of the right post. He does just that. Beautiful kick, Darren. Magnificent start from the centre half forward. The scores are tied away, 1-2 apiece.
31 goals for the season from their centre half forward, averaging 1.5 goals a game. But the point I was making, even though Scott Hodges has kicked over 100 goals, is that Darren Smith's the man who sets it up. He pushes players around, he creates holes for the little fellas to run into, and they need him commanding that centre half forward position.
1-2 apiece. 8.5 minutes gone, first quarter of the qualifying final. Absolutely magnificent conditions. Arnold and Chalmers. Here's Ellis. They've got him. Good tackle. And there'll be a ball up the attacking side of centre for the Magpies.
What an opportunity for Ellis, Mark. He's only played 5 senior games this year, and in a final, he's got a terrific job. And Alan Stewart's given him the task.
Big moment for him. Here's McKinnon, who is so important. Schwert likewise. Coming back from injury. McKinnon coming back from the Crows.
They look better with their Crows contingent back in, don't they? Ingerson, Schwert, back and McKinnon. Just those 3 players alone really are part of the lifeblood of the Bulldogs.
Certainly gives them that little edge back. But on their own, they won't do it. They need the commitment that Alan Stewart's been looking for. Olsen around the body, inside the pressure zone. Windsor did well to get front spot. Sat in the front of Hodges, then played it on. Comes the grandstand side. Ingerson leaves it for McKinnon. The call was good. McKinnon plays on, gets one short. And, well, Ellis, I thought, was going to play on before he took the ball. Umpires paid it. So immediately Gary takes off. The little legs pumping towards half forward. Not taken by Chalmers on the back plate. Tylor. Fiacci. A little run through the midfield, gets it towards centre half forward. The players are crashing in, don't worry about that. It comes off hands to Hull. feigns. Nice little piece of movement, but the Bulldog crashing in was good. Now Potter, little test of the pressure out there. Potter fumbles, can't get it back. Ginniver can. Short pass, he's got one spare. Malachillis, the pressure's right on out there. Hereda takes the ball inside half-back. Swooping in there as Ginniver gets it to Williams, and he's missed.
We forgot build-up. Yes, it was a great build-up, but we forgot how important Hereda has been to the Bulldogs too. Out the last month, they haven't won a game since he's been missing. And Hereda then just showed the unfortunate facts of missing 4 weeks of football. He just fumbled at the crucial stage and almost gave Port Adelaide a chance to goal.
Ray Windsor straight down the middle. Borlase has got the footy. Hereda's got him. And Borlase gets the free kick. Holding on. Smack bang in the centre of Football Park. Bathed in sunshine. Good crowd. 20-odd thousand, perhaps even more. Borlase kicked to right half forward. At the back as Olsen couldn't control it. Ginniver somehow needs to give it off now. Loses balance. It's Potter now at the back and he just knocks it to the safety of the line.
Safety first. Not a bad idea in this sort of game. It just allows the defence to steady. They don't get flustered and not a bad move at this stage of the match.
Spoke with Alan Stewart during the week and he rates Ginniver as the biggest threat in terms of on-ball capacity. Hull takes it from the pack and drives it forward and misses. So Port Adelaide move along to 1-4, Central a 1-2, a 2-point advantage, and we're 11 minutes into the first quarter.
So what a job for Ray Windsor on Scott Hodges. We know how dangerous he can be. Here's Windsor now, formerly from the Bears, goes out wide. Gee, McKay, no, Hereda came in late. Chance for Borlase now from 50. Short chip pass to Scott Hodges, the man we were just talking about. Hodges went past Potter, Potter gets a free kick. He was holding on to him and he didn't have the footy. So from the back pocket, Potter, awkward kick, Hereda decides to lay it off and does so to Wakeland from half-back up toward the wing. Good work by Lewis, who is a very smooth runner of over the turf. The hand pass not particularly good. Chalmers now in trouble. Here's Hull, likewise in trouble. Oh, what about that for a hand pass? Malachillis feeds Olsen. Olsen from 45 metres out. Long bomb, drop punt, good kick. First goal to Olsen and the Magpies at 2-4, Central a 1-2.
And you can imagine John Cale thinking that Olsen, who kicked 5 against the Bulldogs at Alberton Oval 3 weeks ago and starred in that match, in fact, he'd kicked his 5 goals in the second half, would be pretty handy on the forward line today. They dropped him the following week. He kicked 5 in the reserves and he was back last week against the Eagles, and he opens his account today.
This magnificent Football Park Stadium showing that 2-4 leads 1-2, 8 points to difference, and we're nearly 13 minutes into the qualifying final. Beautifully done by Chalmers. Picked off though by McGowan. Goes towards half forward. Here's a little test of the leg speed. A couple of veterans, Georgie Porgy and Roger the Dodger. They lead it to the line. Well done by Girdham. Back into the side last week and played that one particularly well. Chopper Hanley, half forward right. Puts it in towards the full forward line where Ingerson is lurking. Can't quite take it. Felt that he might have been held, but in the end it's Malachillis. Deft little piece of work. Gets it in short and finds Daisy Borlase inside of half-back. He plays on, the umpire's blown the whistle. Probably not the Port Adelaide's advantage though, and he's brought him back 25, or is it going to be 50 metres on the mark? 50 metres it is. And that advantage that I was talking about that's being squandered is that by now all of the Central boys have picked up. But not a bad option to play it on. Chalmers sweeps it wide to a very improved player through the year, and Scott Spalding, little touch of pace, engages the turbo, puts it up towards half forward. Not taken. Well done by McKinnon. You can bet your life he'll run it to the line, and does.
Yes, that's what they do better than probably most sides. They just shut down an opposition's forward thrust. If Port Adelaide get one quick goal, the Central defence just goes into overdrive. They just play the boundary line and make sure they don't get a run on.
Magpies lead by 8 points. Throw in the right forward pocket. Smith tried to knock it to a teammate's advantage. There's Wakeland being harassed by Olsen. Overrunning it is D. Smith. Olsen again. Very hard and tough at the moment. McKinnon, Williams, Potter's there as well, and eventually the ball is escorted over the line.
So important, isn't it, for Central to start well? If they try and play catch-up work, given their last 5 out of 6 losses, they'd be in trouble, wouldn't they? They just need to start well. Boundary throw-in. Smith, little backhander into Stephen Schwert territory. What's the hand going to do? Is it going to allow him to get down to it? Not with 3 Port Adelaide players descending upon him. Malachillis, not a bad piece of work. Stephen Williams, snapshot from about 55 metres out is fantastic. Great piece of work in close. The handball came out. Williams' snap was accurate against the breeze. Port Adelaide move along to 3-4. Central are 1-2.
And if you follow the flight of the ball, look at the good work of Scott Hodges. Now, Alan Stewart was worried about Tim Jennifer, but I think Malachillis has been their destroyer. Look at the work by Hodges. He just bustled Ray Windsor behind the line and made sure, even if that ball was going to drop, that there was no chance of Windsor being able to get near it.
Squirty needed to pick it up, didn't he? Just couldn't pick it up. 3-4 to 1 goal, 2. 3-4, 1-2, 22-8. 15.5 minutes gone in the first quarter. Port Adelaide with a handy break. Smith runs in from centre half forward into the centre of the ground. Chance for Hull. He's pulled off the foot. He didn't have it and will get a free kick from the middle. Very exciting player, this young man. Troy Hull. Eastern side of the centre. Long kick. McGowan getting underneath it. Hodges was knocked over. Umpire says play on. Malachillis inside 50, running the wrong way. Short pass. Opportunity now for Ginniver from about 45 metres, and he misses everything. Out of bounds, left forward pocket on the full.
Malachillis has had some good touches early, hasn't he?
Well, he certainly has.
And he, with Ginniver, loom as the most potent threats that Central are going to have to deal with through the day, along with Scott Hodges in that full forward line. And here's one of the men charged with the responsibility. 186 game veteran in Roger Girdham. This is half forward. Borlase, awful looking kick, not quite taken by Smith, snared by Olsen beautifully. He's made himself some space, paddles it out, but only as far as Herrera, whose pick up and one clean take was good. Stevens, half back to half forward, good use of the body out there, and taken by Lewis, who it seems has switched to centre half forward with Ingerson going down into the forward pocket. From half forward to the forward pocket, it's Carter working back. Great courage. And if you've played the game, you know how hard that is just to go back into the oncoming traffic.
Yes, good courage there by Carter. Short pass to Ginniver now, who's marauding at half back. Good kick toward the wing on the eastern side. Up goes Darren Smith through his hands. Squirt over the top of the footy. They're over the top of him. And there'll be a ball up on that eastern wing far side. 3-4 to 1 goal 2. And we played 17 minutes of this big game. This is the qualifying final. The winner into the second semi next week up against the Eagles. Won't that be a big, big game? Will it be Port Adelaide or will it be Central District? Here's Stephen Williams receiving the hand pass and then giving one himself to Borlase. Short kick. Hodges. Good mark. Windsor behind him. Excellent mark.
He's so strong, isn't he? You put the ball anywhere in front of him and he can take front position. He's almost impossible to shift. You see there, Windsor tried everything he could possibly do to stop it, but just couldn't.
The danger sign for Central, though, is the way that they're running it out of those pack situations so easily. Ray Windsor was right on Hodges then, but couldn't do a single thing about it.
So here he goes. Scott Hodges from about 45 metres. The angle wouldn't be a problem, neither the distance. But in the end, he's missed. A behind to Scott Hodges.
Well, it shows that he's human, but he does appear to be limping. Look, he's just saying, relax it. Just favouring that leg slightly. 10 goals 3 against Glenelg 2 weeks ago, 7-4 against the Eagles, and 2 points here this afternoon. Not the ideal start, but he is very strong overhead.
So a workmanlike beginning by Port Adelaide. Not such a good kick in from Windsor. It's made John Abbott and his task out there at halfback very difficult indeed, and he did well to hold it up and cause a neutral ball inside of halfback.
Well, the question I've got to ask, you're kicking with the breeze, more or less. Why don't you just belt the ball straight down the centre of the field and get it 55 or 60 metres away from goal?
Big pack of players. Olsen goes up. Darren Smith looks to charge it through. Here's Wakeland. A little bit of time. Jams it on the boot and runs it to the line in front of a couple of Central boys who are warming up. They are Brendan Robertson and Hugh Reimers for Port Adelaide. They have the big man, Darryl Poole, on interchange. They've started with Chalmers in the ruck. And other than that, they seem to have lined up pretty much as is. A little tap down. Ginniver looked to shovel it forward. Well done by Abbott. Pushes the handball forward towards Stephen Schwert. Frenetic piece of work through half back to half forward. Well done, Lewis. He's proving a focal point.
Too strong for Wakeland, isn't he?
In the early part of the game, he's such a critical player for them. And speaking of critical people, here's Richardson. Late on the scene. Who's going to be first to take the crumb? It's Fiacci. Watch him run it towards the line. Just saw McKay at the corner of the eye, and in the last moment comes Scott Stevens. Did it beautifully. Chip pass has got Cook, or Ellison Cook takes it in the forward pocket. Play it on. He does, Timmy. Gets around on the left boot. He's normally pretty good on these, and he's got this one. Beautiful kick, and he gets his first, and Central get their second.
Well, he does love to kick a goal, this youngster. Only has 17 for the year, but when he gets within range, he's typical of a lot of small men. They just see the goals and the sticks become wider and wider. And you see here, he had the opportunity of passing it off, knew that he had the position, went on to the left, and from 12 metres out, two-sided player, he'll rarely miss those.
Margin 9 points, 3-5 to 1-2. 8 scoring shots to 3 is significant though. And Port Adelaide out of the centre. Daisy ball lays to Smith, couldn't control the mark. Here's McKinnon, who's generally very good. Hull, hand pass to his own advantage, got a free kick. That's the second time that's happened, or second time he's got a free kick this quarter. This time wide. There's his kick, inside 50. Pedler caught behind and Wakeland takes the mark in defence.
Not a bad start by Wakeland, some important touches. He, like Windsor, are in the hot seat today. McKinnon keeps it in play well, pushes it forward to the very industrious Ricky McGowan, one of the favourites for the Magarey medal. Pushes it forward, not taken by Healy. Gives Darren Smith a chance, dodging and weaving. Worked his way around, looked like he was running around the cones, up towards half forward. Make that full forward, and Anthony Ingerson drops back and takes it nicely. Hands off to Wakeland, and the Bulldogs are away.
Yes, good work there by Smith, but not paying off in the end. Out very wide, Squirt. He's getting a couple of important touches. Little chip pass is okay to Lewis, also getting some stats. This time on the far side. Short one again. Fiarchi should wrap it up. And it's Gorgeous George on the far side of the ground. George Fiarchi goes infield toward centre half forward, finds Melachillis. Melachillis lays off. Well, he took his eye off it then, McKay, and as a result, Melachillis had to pick up his own ball, picked up by McKay again. Inside 50, Darren Smith couldn't control it again. He's had about 4 goes at it. Chance now for Potter, and Potter clears to the far side.
That Central defence is holding up pretty well, but it has to because the ball's been down there a volume of times. Centre wing, McKay, he's had a good season. Not taken by Hanley, but he was grabbed and will get a free kick on centre wing.
It's a worker, isn't he? Now, this is the danger player for my mind for Port Adelaide. If Hanley can get 4 or 5 goals, Central can stay in touch.
Agree with those sentiments. He's such a versatile player from half back or half forward. And in that game that you alluded to a little while ago against South Adelaide, when Reimers went crazy, so too did Hanley and kicked 5 en route to getting reported. Ellis at half forward, chips it in short. They need to be accurate, the Bulldogs. They can't waste the opportunities inside half forward. Their entries are good at the moment. They're generally pretty clean. Now Ellis to the pressure zone, top of the square. Lewis lost feet, so too did Richardson. Borlase does well. Keeps his presence of mind and gets it to Rowan Smith on half back and takes his first possession for the game. He looks to play it on very quickly, had Roger there. And Roger's going to be claimed and drag it in underneath. Now Stephen Schwer can do it in terms of keeping it in. I'm sure he will. It comes out to him in the end on the free. Well done, Rowan Smith. Tim Cook gathers. There's great pressure out there. Spalding sees it to the line, and so too does Rowan Smith.
I think that's the thing where Central have improved over the last month, is that their tackling in, say, the Foundation Cup final, earlier in the season, their tackling was just terrific. They've abandoned that in the last 3 or 4 weeks. They seem to be working their way back to that today.
Gee, there's no quarter being given. There's the kick by Hull. Went straight down the throat of S. Stevens, though. And Scotty Stevens from 65 metres out. Long bomb, down ground. At the back was Arnold. Tried to get a hand to it, but it goes through for a behind.
Johnny Cale coming down on the boundary. 23.5 minutes gone. He likes to spend the time on period down on the boundary line, just talking to his players, and that's the spur. Port Adelaide have a message. Time on, they move up another gear.
They sure do. 22 years in coaching. Jack knows what's important. Delaney brings it in. There are 5 Central District players there, if you don't mind, and only McKay, and the Maggies work it out. Come on, Centrals, you've got to put the pressure on. Ginniver gets it to Fiarchi. Now, George shouldn't be able to take 3 bounces. He took 2 in the end, then pushed the ball forward. It's given Hodges a chance and Smith. Watch for both. Stephen Williams worked back. Hodges couldn't take the mark. Windsor looks to run it towards the line, keeps a play on it, and in the end does it pretty well. Runs it from half back towards centre wing's got one spare. And it's Healy. Stylish, but not so accurate. And Spalding takes it just backward of centre wing. Grandstand side in front of a big crowd here at Football Park. Maybe around 20,000 people. And they saw in the first game Norwood a barnstorming win against the Tigers in the elimination final. So the loser of this game will play the Redlegs next week at Football Park. Beautiful spot, McGowan. Not sure what Anthony Ingerson was trying to do there. provided the Shepherd, but it was no one to take the ball. Williams got on the end of it from Jennifer. Magnificent tackle, Roger. That's Roger Girdham at his very best.
Well, umpire Abbott said that Stephen Williams ducked his head. You see if he did. Yep, he ducks his head. And umpire Abbott was right on the spot.
Two of the best tacklers, aren't they, David, on each other?
Yep, that's a very good call. Stephen Williams and Girdham, the two number 10s, are ferocious tacklers. Potter, I suppose.
And with Central District down on tackles last week, I'd imagine their coach would be pretty happy with that effort then by the skipper. There's a good mark taken by Lewis, who is a factor in this game in the early stages. Too far out to score, you would think, about 70 metres. The margin is 8 points. Lewis taking a long time. Simon Lewis directly in front, needs an option, decides to go into the pocket. He gets one from Big Arnold, who just stretched every fibre but couldn't take the mark. Then does the tackling. Good work by the big ruckman, and he holds the ball in the area.
The Central, when they were on fire in the mid-season phase of their game, were having an average of about 30 tackles a game. Last week, when they lost to West in round 25, they had a paltry 15, so it is important.
That's a fair statistic, isn't it?
Fiachi, hands and knees. Stephen Schwert, they'd love to get another one here. The Bulldogs inside half forward. Carter, not enough pressure again. This is where they need to put it on them. Tyler to centre wing, not enough pressure on him, but the kick was still pretty ordinary off the side of the boot, and it's picked off by Ingerson towards the centre of the ground, and he's got McGowan, who loves to stay at home and play that game. The rangy left footer is Stevens. Pretty ambitious, Stevens getting past Scott Spaulding. Comes back from whence it came and gives Scotty another chance. He turns around, he runs into a bevy of Port players. Well done by Potter, and a good take.
Gee, they were lucky there.
They were lucky, and it was a good take by McKinnon. Now, there are a few Bulldogs off of their leash down there, but they're running in all different directions other than where they should be. That's the point of the square. Spoiled down by Arnold. Ellis got one high and should take a free kick. He does.
He will. Definitely got one high. McKay came through with a clumsy tackle. He laments it, but look, you can see it there. Ellis didn't duck his head. McKay came through and tried to apply the tackle. Ellis just deviated off the line. McKay left the hand out to dry and took Ellis high.
Be interested in your thoughts as to where Ellis is playing. He was named in a back pocket. Has a look at them. That is a vital miss. Really should have kicked that one from about 40 metres out. Instead he misses, and Central get just a little bit closer. 3-5, plays 2-4 for a couple of minutes into time on.
I think you'll find he's playing as a rover. Second rover, I would suggest, perhaps changing with Cook.
7 points.
And ruck roving.
Sorry, David, 7 points the margin. So Stewie, Alan Stewart, perhaps bringing a few late changes. There's Carter going sideways. Now Rowan Smith, Spaulding. He's got the run of it, but there's a man coming at him, and that's Harada, and he did very well. It ricochets to Smith, though, fortuitously perhaps. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Big chance now for them as Olsen goes, and again, a high kick, left foot, and he's missed to the right-hand side.
Well, Darren McKay on the outer side and Tony Malakalis were screaming their lungs out, calling for the ball. Olsen ignored them. You see here as the ball comes in, now Malakalis is way out the far side. Schwert applies the tackle, goes to ground. Now there's two spare players out the far side, 30 yards clear of everybody. They were ignored as Olsen shot for goal.
And while all of that was going on, Windsor brought it back in, and Stephen Schwert couldn't control it. As you saw as we came back to it, was looking for a free kick. It's Port Adelaide by just 8 points. It's been a good start to this qualifying final, and Central need badly to be with them at half-time. Harada, what's happened there? The umpires claimed it's a dead ball and will have it inside of half-back.
I'd say, and I'll ask you this, David, it has been a great start by Central, given that Port Adelaide have just barnstormed over the last 4 or 5 weeks in the first 10-15 minutes of their games.
Very true, and particularly in view of the fact that I don't think Central have got their running game going at all.
Ingerson got the tap down. There's not much happening in there. Someone needs to make the play. The catalyst inside of there is Schwert. Gets the quick kick away. Awkward bounce was always going to be from McKay. Took pot luck but couldn't get it. Ginniver backs himself. Gets a quick left leg around the body. Into ball as Daisy. Should have taken that one. Harada's pressure's good, and Windsor goes off of the ground, but unluckily only as far as Smith. Didn't carry the 10, so Darren's called to play on. Head of the square. Look out, Anthony. Great take. Magnificent take on the last line of defence, because he had Malakalis thundering down on him.
Well, he had also Olsen there. Had the ball spilled out of Ingerson's hands, Olsen was at the back of the pack, he would have just taken the crumb and probably shot for goal.
There's Anthony Ingerson's kick away from the back pocket up toward the half-back flank. Well done by Chalmers. Knocks it into the path of Olsen round the corner, and they should wrap this up, Central District, and they do. This is John Abbott, rough, tough. Gets a lot of injuries because he's fearless. Short little chip pass is okay to Healy. Healy at centre half-back decides to change direction somewhat. Goes to Ellis, and a good little mark by this nuggety little player.
Ruck roving with Girdham off a half-forward flank, Ellis, today.
There's the kick by Ellis, left half-forward, 2-on-1 situation. Roger Girdham outnumbered, didn't have a hope there because Chalmers and also Fiarchi were there to wrap it up. No mark taken by Mackay, but he gets one in the back, and he'll get the free kick at centre half-back.
That football is just coming out of the Central District forward line a little too easily, and they need to pick up on the exits from that defensive zone. Here's Rowan Smith, centre wing, pushes it to half forward. Pedler sets himself, he's crunched by 3. And one with the big fist is Ingerson as the siren goes. You see the Port Adelaide bench, they'd be a little apprehensive at the moment, but the siren indicates that that's the end of the first term of this, the qualifying final from Football Park, and it sees an 8-point advantage to the Magpies, 3-6 to 2-4. And all of the action with you as always on ABC Sport. This is umpire Ron Bettridge in the centre for the start of the second quarter of the qualifying final between Port Adelaide and Central District, and at the moment it's the Maggies by 8 points. Not a bad start from the Bulldogs. Girdham works his way through, fairly productive early. Magnificent bump off of the play, if you don't mind, by Hanley on Smith up into the full forward line. It's Cook. Two eyes were just taken off of the ball there. Such was the weight of the tackle on the centre ground of, or the centre of the ground by Hanley. It was huge.
Yes, if you have a look at it, Rowan Smith came through and bang, Hanley. Lets Rowan Smith know this is a final.
Indeed. So at right half forward, big quarter for the Bulldogs coming up. A man who was reasonably influential early is Simon Lewis. He can't take the ball away. And Mark Tyler will give it back to the umpire.
Pedler's come off, David. Is that a surprise to you?
Yes, I think his form's been pretty good in the last month or so, but I think John Cale felt that their forward line just needed a little bit more roving capacity, and that's the move he's made.
So the margin is 8 points now as Hull delivers out very wide. Getting underneath it, though, is McKinnon. Bad bounce for him. Olsen gathers well. Nice sidestep. Gets around, then loses the footy. McKinnon's hot on his hammer. Well done by this young champion. That was terrific work. Ingerson slips the hand pass out wide. McGowan let him down, though it wasn't a clean take, and he's been pinged for holding the ball. The umpire says play on, and S. Williams, who generally delivers the ball superbly, down ground for Hodges. Here's Borlays. Here's a goal coming up. Left foot round the corner. It's rolling, and it's a goal. Easy as you like. Turn over, and it's a goal. Bang.
Well, it wasn't that easy. If you look at it, you can put the goal down to Borlays, but look at the work by Scott Hodges. It's quite freakish. The way he came out, picked up that ball, bang, on the half volley, got it, and handballed over his head, and Borlays didn't lose a stride to take the ball. It was a significant effort by Hodges to even put the ball in the position where Borlays could gather it in. Really just was a freakish piece of play. Very few players would even attempt that.
2 minutes into the second quarter and the margin's out to 14 points. Chalmers gets the benefit of the bounce and thumps it forward. Well done, Wakeland, attacked the football. Just a couple of little danger signs at the moment for Central. They need to close Port down at the same time as doing their fair share of attacking. And we'll have a bounce down inside the centre square. 4-6 plays 2-4. Big crowd in. And just looking a little tense, aren't they, as they look on?
They were a bit tense before the game, weren't they?
Central District certainly were. We wandered down to the rooms and there was an enormous amount of apprehension down there. They know the importance of this game. Deft little touch. Gets to Malakalis, and 35 metres out, the head stays down. The kick goes through the ball and he's nailed it. Malakalis gets his first. And Port Adelaide just starting to break free. 5-6 to 2-4.
Goal number 24 for the year for Malakalis. In their opening match of the season, Malakalis was quite extraordinary. He cut the Bulldog defence to shreds. He had 11 kicks in the first term. Today he's been solid, but Jennifer's been the starring rover at this stage. Malakalis has 4 and 5. Jennifer has 6 and 4, but Jennifer's done a lot more with his balls.
Okay, there's no real answer to that one, David. 20 points the margin, 5-6 to 2 goals 4, 36 to 16, 20 points the margin. And we've played 3.5 minutes in the second quarter of the qualifying final. Up goes Ingerson and Chalmers. Now a chance for Stephen Williams. Short kick, didn't go anywhere. Chopper Handley overran it. Now he's got the footy, but they pack tackle him. And there'll be a ball up in the middle of Football Park.
Some of our supporters in. 4 minutes into the second term. Certainly not as crimson as our guest comments man, David Mackay. Well done by McGowan. Took the ball. He's so important to them at the moment because if he can manufacture some play from the middle of the ground, then he'll set things up. He with Potter and Girdham are the catalysts. A little bit of shepherding, says Michael Abbott, the umpire. And Central will get at midfield.
Against Chalmers, he shepherded Ingerson out of the ruck contest.
Unorthodox to half forward he goes. Lewis is beset upon by quite a few Port Adelaide players. They did well to Cook. Couldn't find a player with any accuracy. Attacking the football was McGowan. He's come a long way down from his centre square area. Richardson, well tackled by Fiacci. Changes direction, but there's a free kick been paid for holding the ball, I suspect, and George Fiacci gets it in the back pocket. Arriving late as Ingerson sinks the fist into the ball. Looks to keep the ball in the area. Wakeland's got one spare on the far side, but he can't push it out to Timmy Geneva. Cook does it well to wrap it up. It's tight in there. We haven't really seen too many passages of free-flowing football, such as the pressure. Comes free to Girdham. Here's a chance. Has a look at them. You must get this, Roger, from 25. And he has. Central get their third. It's 5-6 to 3-4.
That brings them back now within 14 points, a real skipper's goal. But it was sheer persistence by everyone. Cook was there, Potter was there, just kept forcing the ball forward. Finally, it ran into space where Girdham was able to run over the top of the ball. And if you talk about a team goal, that was it. 3 or 4 players involved. Girdham did the finishing.
Needed it desperately, though, didn't they, to break that run? Porter kicked 5 out of the previous 6.
Well, if you think about it, the Magpies are a solid outfit. You're going to have to play your best football to beat them.
5-6 to 3-4, 11 scoring shots to 7, 36 to 22. And that represents a margin of 14 points in favour of Port Adelaide, who have won their last 9. Chalmers and Ingerson. Look at the tackling there. Gee, it is ferocious, isn't it? Some crunching tackles in the middle. McGowan, who's one of the favourites for the Magarey medal, hasn't had a big couple of months, but a good start to the season. Rowan Smith, look at that, besieged by Bulldog players. One of them was Potter. And there'll be another ball up in the centre. It's 5-6 to 3-4. We played 6 minutes of the second quarter.
And that Magarey medal that McGowan will poll well in is on Tuesday night on ABC Sport at 8:30. Rowan Smith off of the ground by Spalding in towards some space. Malakellis is just so dangerous. Gets it inside towards Spalding in that slightly odd coloured jumper. Odd in terms of a different design. Around the body he goes. Thumps it up towards the line. Hodges and Windsor are doing battle down there, arm in arm like a couple of prize fighters. Round the body it goes. Stevens can't snare it. 3 Port Adelaide players. Danger signs. Beautifully done, Scotty. Magnificently done, because you're in deep trouble if they'd taken it away, Port Adelaide. You still might be, actually. And the umpire's found a free kick and it will go to the Maggies.
Holding. And you can see here Stevens crashed through. And just a beautiful smother. Didn't allow the Angove handball to go anywhere.
Back at half forward. Deft little handball. Look out, Brian Herrera, because Port Adelaide tackled very strongly in the clinches like that. And one of the very best in the business is that man, Stephen Williams, who has had a wonderful season, 257 games today. And throughout that time, including 1 state game, he's kicked 266 goals, and they reckon this is one of his best seasons so far.
14 points, Port Adelaide lead. The ball smacked towards centre half back for Central District. Ellis was there, a chance for Girdham. Now Ingerson, tackled well by Carter. Over there is Geneva. Rowan Smith went past him. Handy got the short kick to Cook. Hand pass out wide to Healy, looking for Cook again, and that's exactly the option he takes. And Cook provides the run, decides to go with it, then goes with a long kick, 2-on-1 situation, but the mark has been taken by Arnold. Gee whiz, that was terrific footy, because he was outnumbered down there, David.
Yes, it was 2-1, but Tyler was very unhappy because he sat back waiting for Chalmers to take the mark, and Chalmers lost his footing, and in the finish, Tyler's man Arnold took an easy chest mark.
So Damien Arnold, gee, this is an important one for the giant ruckman. The drop punt's on its way from 35 metres, and he has pushed it through. A critical goal to Central District. They're staying with the Magpies.
And that is only his 3rd goal for the season, and I don't think there'll be a more important goal this year for him. He's changing in ruck with Ingerson. That's what the Bulldogs are doing there. They're trying to confuse the Magpies. But look at it. Chalmers was there. He was in position. He lost his footing. and then suddenly it was all gone.
Centre of the ground, 5-6 to 4-4. The Bulldogs make up some ground. They bring it back into 8 points, and we're 9 minutes into this critical second term. Indeed, it was well picked up that Ingerson is now changing with Arnold out of the forward pocket, and Arnold certainly has a presence down there. He'll complement Richardson pretty well in that one will be doing the leading and one will be marking tall, as Arnold did just then. Pretty relaxed on the central bench. They'll be well aware of the responsibility that they all have today to try and break the drought. They haven't won a final for over 20 years, the Bulldogs.
I'll be right in saying they've got 12 straight.
Correct. And whilst that they can't be accountable for what's happened in the past, they just tend to wear that stigma. Rowan Smith also had a wonderful season for Port Adelaide on centre wing. Can't do much constructive with it, and we'll have a bounce down on centre wing. 5-6 to 4-4, 8 points the difference.
I'd suggest your point about Rowan Smith is a wonderful second half of the season. I thought his first part of the season was pretty ordinary. Even he, by his own admission, acknowledges that. Almost 10 minutes gone, second quarter. Carter gets it to Ginniver, and Ginniver from the middle. A high kick toward Darren Smith territory. Well done at the back. Good work by Abbott as he clears it away to Handley, and Chopper Handley gets the cheers from the crowd. Left footer inside 50, lures underneath it. Chalmers there as well. At the back is Cook. Well done to Stevens, and Stevens has put it through. Big goal there to Scotty Stevens, and the margin is 2 points. Port Adelaide lead. And you've got to say that if the Bulldogs are going to win this match, they need fellows like Handley performing like he did there, creating space, and Stevens running down off his wing, scoring or at least making opportunities. The handball came out from Cook. Hasn't he been constructive already? He's been a very solid rover. The fall of the ball, Fiarchi couldn't track him down, and Stevens, a left footer, gets one on his right.
Well, it's a great comeback by the Doggies. 2 points in it. Nearly 11 minutes in. Chalmers, a backflip or a backhander into the arms of Stephen Williams, quickly towards half forward. Central defence is held up well, and a man who's settled straight back into the side at half back is Marty McKinnon as Darryl Poole gets himself organised. Important change this as well. I'm not sure what they're going to do in terms of taking someone off, but Poole is such an aggressive player in the centre square that he'll doubtless give them something in there. Frenzy of players. Or a frenzy of work rate anyway. Ingerson. They try and work it out central. Nothing very clean about it at the moment. Looked like a throw, but they've got away with it. Schwert, always productive. Potter through half-back. If he can fire up, it'll make an enormous difference to the Dogs. Here's his ex-Bears teammate in Simon Lewis. To half-forward he goes. Richardson's on the long lead. Delaney's got him covered. Now Ellis has got the break. Had a couple of steps. Beautifully taken, son. Has a look at them. Diamond. He's missed.
Well, it was an unrealistic expectation, but I suppose it's a final. He's got the adrenaline flying high. The senses are acute, and he backed himself in, but failed.
Just for a moment, it looked okay, didn't it?
They would have put Central in front. They still trail by behind. There's a big Greg Phillips,
assistant coach.
Yes, and coach of the reserves. They've done pretty well there too with the Port Adelaide, and he's barking the instructions for Jack Cale. Here's Poole about to come on, so high drama here as Poole about to come onto Football Park. It'll be a big moment for him. Roger Delaney's been there so many times before. Poole waiting to come, and coming off is Damien Ango. Didn't get a touch in that quarter, I don't think. Ball over on the far side. Melakelis, Cook, who set up that goal earlier.
And you're right about Ango. He hasn't had a possession, but he's only been on the field about 10 minutes.
Thought they might have used the leg speed, so we'll see what Jack's got up his sleeve. Port Adelaide coach Jack Cale, he's now got the two talls out there in Poole and Chalmers. Hull, here's a little touch of class, this boy. Shovels it across the top to an equally talented Stephen Carter. Look at that for red, white and blue jumpers in there. There's a whole kennel of them. Potter does it well, gets it to Girdham. These are the band of workers that Central need, running and working very hard. Healy at half forward, just outside 50. 51 metres out, and he's just put it across the face of goals. The margin is, well, the margin is no more. It's back to square, 36 points apiece, and we're 13 minutes into the second quarter.
We've mentioned Healy's game is running, but he really has to work on his disposal. He hasn't hit the target too many times today.
There's Delaney to McKay, and McKay is crunched by Stevens, and this winger will get a free kick. He's had a good year, hasn't he? On the interchange last year for much of the season. really cemented his place. The kick not good though. Good mark taken by Healy, and Healy swings play now toward left half forward. Over there is Hanley and also Carter. Carter's outnumbered. Hanley's got the footy. Good protection there by Hereda. And the kick comes in almost inside 50. Poole is over there and so is Girdham. Rowan Smith as well. Poole's got Girdham. Gives it back to Healy. Can they set something up? Carter's crunched again. Hereda feeds it off. Over the top goes McGowan to Cook. Away they go again. This is Healy. Short pass to his full forward, and the mark is taken by Tyler. So they'll cut this attack out, Port Adelaide, and Tyler gets 25.
Yes, it was great work by Arnold, though. Tyler was off. It was a professional 25-metre penalty. Arnold saw Tyler taking off with Port Adelaide players streaming past and grabbed him by the foot and held him up.
44 minutes into this game, and you sense that the Bulldogs are starting to get a sniff of September finals. It's Hull in the middle of the ground, up towards full forward. Hodges has got 2 to contend with. Windsor from the back puts the fist into it. McKinnon dives in on the ball. He pounces on it. Schwertz working backward of the play very nicely, and he pushes it to Hereda, who finds the line. So all of a sudden, the Bulldogs are back in at 5-6 apiece, and that Port Adelaide bench would be just a little anxious.
Well, I think they would have thought they were going to win this game pretty comfortably. Stats are pretty even, 68 kicks and 69 kicks, nothing separating them, and 37 handballs apiece.
Hereda looks to be hurt on the far side.
Miller-Kellis and also Healy, who's getting a couple of valuable touches here. Close to the boundary line, tackled, pulled off the footy, got the kick away, goes straight to Carter though, far side of the ground. Good little player, this man. Gets on with it quickly, gains 35 metres, Ingerson at the back. Knocked to the boundary line, and there's Super Sid, who...
Doesn't he change his colours? Fair dinkum. I'll be having a word with him. He's gone from Norwood to the Eagles. Now he's in a Port Adelaide beanie, Super Sid.
Quite a nice hat too.
15 minutes into the second term. We can arrange one for you if you like. I can see you with that on. Beautifully snared by Rowan Smith on centre wing. Wheels around in the big arc, gets himself on a straight line and pushes up towards Chalmers, who seemingly is ahead of the play. Beautifully done by Timmy. Jennifer has a look at the goals and he's bottled it. Port Adelaide get themselves a 6-point margin and a buffer. 15.5 minutes into the second term.
And I'll share this. Tim Jennifer is supposed to be being picked up by Gary Ellis. Now, when he takes this ball, Gary Ellis is out of screen about 40 metres back in the centre of the field. He just didn't follow Jennifer down. Lost concentration for a split second. And if you lose concentration with Jennifer, he will destroy you. He did it there.
6-6 Port, Central are 5-6, and the margin is 1 straight kick. It's a wonderful game of football so far. Approaching half-time, Williams to Hull, and Hull with an awkward kick, scrambles it down ground. Chance for McKinnon, who is a touch of class. Olsen there as well, 2 youngsters. Olsen outnumbered, and in the end, I guess he did pretty well. Good crowd, something like 20,000. Many of them staying after Norwood defeated Glenelg in the elimination final. So we're well and truly into the second quarter. Throw in between the pocket and the right half forward flank for Port Adelaide. Here's Cook, who's done some useful things. Ellis, Healy, short pass to Handley, who's an important player for Central District.
And is now on top of Carter as well.
There's Handley's kick, short one to Lures, generally good hands. Ellis over there and Healy, and there'll be a throw in at left half forward for Central.
Yes, I think your assessment's right about Handley getting on top of Carter. Carter plays a very attacking role, but just for the moment he needs to tighten up and make sure he chops Handley out.
Port Adelaide coach Jack Cale has the belief that every now and again his star-studded youngsters do float. Carter's one of them. Angove's another off of the ground. Potter to half forward. Roger improvises. Gets it off of the ground, but it didn't go to a Port Adelaide player. Now they've got no one spare down there. Stevens with no option but to hold it up. He did it pretty well, and so Lewis will bang it in from 51 metres out. Has a look at the goals, and he's just missed. So a 7-point margin. 6-7 plays 5-6, and Port Adelaide are under some pressure. 5 points it is.
Here's Delaney from the southern end of the ground. Goes with about a 45-metre drop punt, looking for Chalmers, a player right over the top. It was Healy. He is okay. He's up. Here's R. Smith now from half back toward the wing, looking down there for Olsen. Clever work. Hereda, who's playing pretty well. Well done by Wakeland. Now to McKinnon, I think that is. Far side of the ground, left footer. Good kick towards centre half forward. Up they go. No mark taken. They're all there at the back though, the Magpies, and this is Chalmers cleaning up.
Broke the rule there. The full forward for the Bulldogs needed to keep it in front. That's where all the packet players had gone. This is McKay, gets one high and will get it on centre wing. of Central fans in today. And I suspect that if they're Norwood or Glenelg fans, they'd be cheering for the Bulldogs as well. Play on, says the umpire. Fiacci was infringed upon and Carter gets it. Now this is okay. He needs to finish it though from 48 metres out. Slews off the instep and just traverses the line through for one behind. And the Magpies all of a sudden get the momentum back. 6 points the difference.
So Windsor, this time from the northern end of the ground, goes with a very long kick. No one able to complete the mark. At the back is Chalmers. Needs support, gets it from Rowan Smith. Healy comes at him. Smith makes a big mess of that. And then tackles Healy. The umpire keeps an eye on it. Says play on. Cook. Little chip pass. 2 against 2 down there, but a good mark taken by Wakeland. Gets it to Fiacci. It was touched off the boot. Here's Spalding. Haven't seen a lot of him in this quarter. Well done to Fiacci. Now to Hull. Smack bang in the middle of Football Park. Drives them long. Long kick. Hodges. Almost. No, couldn't control the mark. Good work off the ground though. Hand pass a bit loose. Surely that's in the back. Umpire doesn't agree. He's a bit closer. Borlay's there as well. Also Abbott, and they tie it up.
Central District, they're in trouble through the half-back line. Not from the point of view of that ball coming down there, but Anthony Ingerson looks very forlorn coming off of the ground, and that left leg is very, very crook as he runs it towards the line, or towards the line. That's a blow.
That is a real blow. Ingerson off for the Bulldogs, and he looks to be injured in his left leg.
Not a bad replacement though. Reimers.
But you still wouldn't want to lose one like Ingerson. They've been pinning their faith in having him back from the Crows. Such as his competition. So Arnold comes up to the ruck. Reimers drops into a forward pocket. And as you quite rightly say, they haven't lost a lot, but they've lost a bit of flexibility. That's what they have lost. Well done by Smith. Lays it off to Ginniver. He kicked the last one. Has a look at them. Just doesn't quite carry it. Or does it? It does. A lucky break, as it were. Turn to the left. And Ginniver gets his second.
Well, it was a lucky break, and sometimes in finals you just need a little bit of luck. Well, he certainly got it there. And I suspect that right at this stage, Abbott is picking up Ginniver. And that's exactly what's happened. So Abbott was on, and Malakalis and Ginniver have changed. And there was confusion as to who was actually picking up Ginniver, and he got clear in between changes with Malakalis.
7-7 plays 5-7. 2 straight kicks in it. 21 minutes gone in the second quarter, so we're about 8 minutes away from half-time. Good knock by Arnold. Straight to Smith, though. In goes Healy, can't get it on the first grab, and as a result the ball will be bounced again in the centre. Good crowd, as we mentioned.
Not much in the stats, are there? Kicks are even, marks are fairly even, handballs and frees a little in favour of Port Adelaide.
Bounce down in the centre. So you get the feeling that whenever Gurdon and Potter and this man McGowan just go off the boil a bit, Central are struggling. When they're playing well, they get moving. This is Cook. Hanley. Fairly productive at half forward towards the full forward line or the 50-metre line, and he gets Reimers.
Didn't take him long.
Well, he won't make the distance. He's just too cold to really open up. He'll look for a short kick.
Does just that. And gets Robert Hanley.
Very difficult when you've just come on and you're cold. There's no way you're going to open up for a 60-metre kick. You tear a hamstring, and I think he wisely chipped it off to Hanley.
Well, these guys are a bit younger than you. They might be able to unleash one from 60.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with unleashing it, but when you're cold, it's very difficult.
What can Chopper do from right on 50? Lunges into the ball, and it's gone off the side of the boot, so one missing. It comes back into 11 points. For all of that, Hanley's been quite good at half forward. 49 plays 38, and we're a couple of minutes from time on.
Well, they rely on Hanley. Richardson has 76 goals for the year. Hanley 40. The next one is Reimers with 24 and McGowan with 18, so they really fall away when Hanley and Richardson aren't kicking goals.
Well, good option by Roger Delaney. He's found Wakeland at centre half back. So Wakeland now looking to go just a shade wider. Gets good distance to the wing on the far side. Potter at the back, knocked it down. Smith, that was Rowan Smith, past Darren Smith. Reimers dragged off the football. Williams, what about that for a hand pass? Just a bit too sharp for McKay. Abbott fed the hand pass out. Ginniver again. Williams is there also. Gee, it's scrambly, isn't it? McKinnon on hands and knees. Darren Smith applying the tackle. Healy finally gets it away from a very congested area. Free kick, and it goes to Chopper. Hanley, left half forward.
I've got to say, there was nothing in that at all. They were just jostling each other.
So what can Chopper do? Needs to set something up. Is there a loose man? Yes, there is. Big Brian Harada. and expected to poll very well in the Magarey medal. The 23-year-old, he's played over 100 games. He's had 2 kicks and 3 marks and 4 hand passes. 85 metres out, Big Brian with a long kick. Chalmers, tailor-made for him at the back. Delaney went past him. Cook needs to pick it up on the first occasion. Rowan Smith then ties it up, and there'll be a ball up.
They've done that, Stephen, a number of times, haven't they? They've just overrun the ball. Gurdon did it earlier, then Cook. And if they'd taken clean takes, they're running into goals.
As part of that is that Port Adelaide put the pressure on. The other part of it is that they just panic a little bit. 24 minutes in. Wouldn't they love to get one now that it's within 30 of their own goals? Lewis rakes it back. Quick kick from Hull from the congestion to the 50-metre line. Stephen Williams used his body remarkably well. Look at this. Just leant back on Potter, who's not short of experience either. Meanwhile, the ball is out on centre wing with Fiacci. Pugnacious as always, pushes it to half forward in the 50-metre line. A little spoiled down, goes in the arms of Abbott, who was held and gets a free kick at half-back.
I would suggest the umpires need to let them go and let the players sort it out.
There's John Abbott's kick looking for Cook. Just lost sight of it there. Did have 3 to beat though. Ginniver looking to draw a play. Not successfully though. Gurdon, can they turn this around? Yes, they can. And Potter's got it now. Stabs it low. Reimers, good mark. No, good kick. Wasn't paid, or was it? Yes, it was.
Mark was paid.
Yep. Gee, that was good work, wasn't it? Tylor only a metre or so behind him, but that was important. There's a short kick, and he's found his teammate Lewis. Well, Lewis, who is such a sleek mover, he's got such a terrific gait, and he burst out of that forward pocket.
What's the fence like?
Here we go. A kick from about 45 metres. Oh, good kick, Simon. Terrific kick. First goal to Simon Lewis, an important one, and the Doggies come back 49 to 44.
And you look for explanations of why the Bulldogs failed in the last month or so. It's really been the fitness and the form of this fellow, along with the fact that they've had a few people out of the side to the Crows and a few down on form, but he's obviously coming back into something like his best after missing a good deal of the season with a shoulder injury, and that was the kick of a man in form.
.26 minutes into the second term, and they've kicked 4 goals each in this quarter. Arm lumbers after the ball. He's just a little bit slow, isn't he? But he's a big man. Potter gets the quick kick away. George Fiacci stands his ground, and with years of experience and 189 games worth of experience, takes it at half-back. Way up to half-forward. Oh, what a great mark. I thought the free kick, as sure as eggs, was going to be given away, but Abbott took it beautifully.
Well, if he didn't take the mark, the free kick would have surely been given away.
Here's Lewis again. He's taking prominent.
Sorry, Stephen, he's taking some marks, isn't he?
Only problem for the Bulldogs is that he's taken them a long way from home. Now, where's Reimers? Here he is. Appears onto the scene, has made an impact, so they've lost nothing just for the moment with Ingerson being off. Richardson runs into a wall, so the other option is used, and in short, it's Ellis. Not much down there besides Marty McKinnon and the back playing. Now he's come in short, McKinnon. Ellis has a look at him, pops it up, he's going to kill him. Olsen arrived late in the scene, just a little bit lazy, Gary, and it hurts.
Free kick. The umpires indicated that McKinnon was taken high by Olsen.
And how do you see that? Be honest.
Well, I've got to be frank, and well, let's have a look. You be the judge. He just got him on the lip of the arm. I don't think he even took him high.
It's called spoiling the ball. When you can't get it, you rake the arms. It's happened for 100 years or more. McKinnon, want to be a fairly special sort of a kick from there. It's on the correct side for him, but the breeze probably isn't helping. 1 point only. So we've got a 4-point ball game. 7-7 to 6-9. We're 2.5 minutes into time on. The siren can't be far away with just 4 goals each throughout the term.
Ingerson on the bench. Robertson, a reserves Magarey medalist, recruited from Sturt, the other player on the bench.
Originally named as the second rover. So here's Delaney, once again from the southern end of Football Park, taking an age and a half, the 28-year-old. Look at that. He's played over 150 games, a lot of experience there. Goes to Wakeland. Wait wasn't worth it, was it? Because Gurdon slips a hand pass to Cook. Danger signs here. Cook tries to get around Hull. He'll kick a goal. If he does, he'll bring the house down. He does. Second goal to the young man, and they're in front. 7-9 to 7-7 the margin. 2 points. The Bulldogs in front now.
Big games create big reputations, and I think Tim Cook's done enough in the first quarter and a half, or first 2 quarters of this match, to suggest that he really is going to make an impact if Central can go on in the finals. He's been everywhere. He's been tough at the ball. He's taken some hard knocks. He's backed himself in and ran around players, and that goal has put the Bulldogs in front. Can the adrenaline run them home to half-time?
What a courageous fight back. 2 points in at 51, plays 49, and the Doggies are in front for the first time in this game. Be a wonderful fillip for them if they can go in at half-time in front. And speaking of being in front, that's just what John Abbott does, and he gets a 25-metre penalty, so at least temporarily the Maggies are rattled. Abbott, tough. To half-forward he goes, and he's got Schwert, who's come down from half-back. He's drifted down. Immediately Stephen plays on. Looks like a little St Bernard, but it's not a bad sort of a kick from a Bernie. He's got it. The margin out to 8 points the difference as Schwert gets his first running off of half-back, and they love it.
Well, we talked about emotion, and the Bulldogs have it. Now, it's a shame that the quarter's going to finish because they're on a high. Now, Schwert plays on quickly. This is what they didn't do in the opening quarter, is play on every opportunity. Schwert took off, and he just caught the Port Adelaide defence napping. And he is a quality player. He takes a lot of marks. He gets a lot of kicks. His work rate is fantastic.
And after that goal too, David, Brian Herrera called all of the defensive boys together to give them some carry on, and obviously suggested just to tighten up, don't loosen up at the moment because you're in front. You've been doing pretty well. Borlays, a high kick. Darren Smith down there, couldn't control it. Haven't seen a lot of him. Abbott is down there, who's done pretty well in this term. And there'll be a ball up about 50 metres out from the Port goal.
And the Bulldog work rate has improved. They've got a sniff that they can go into half-time with perhaps an 8-point break. It's a good position to be in.
Just don't think that anybody besides the great faithful would have tipped Central District. We knew that they could be competitive. The game's still got an hour to run, of course, but with great courage like that, they're every good chance. You play the football like that and you're going to get the rewards. Ellis has proved to be a surprise package on the ball. Goes to McKinnon on the far side. He's made an impact as well to this Central District side. Gives some ground to McGowan. Hands it off. Don't make a mess of it now, boys. They paddle it forward and someone's got a free kick out there. It's a black and white one.
Olsen was tripped.
So the rangy Olsen, the enigmatic Olsen, he can burst into the game with explosive bursts. To half-forward he goes. There's not much there. Girdham's played beautifully. Hands off to Abbott, who couldn't do anything constructive with it. Second effort's not bad. Paddles it forward to Healy. It's getting just a little dark out there at Football Park tonight. This game will go into the evening, of course, and it looms at the moment to be a beauty. Well done by McGowan. Feigns it and then comes in. He's got Rymers. Oh, Huey, you should have taken it, son. Couldn't quite. Thunders in for the ball. Tyler claimed holding the ball and another turnover.
Well, he just didn't have an option. He was looking for some support. There was none there, and he held the ball just a little too long looking for an option.
McKinnon to half-forward. Going to be short-circuited by Borlays and Ginniver. Now Carter.
Yes, Carter relieving the pressure, and there is a fair amount out there. Don't worry about that. Here's Olsen on the outer side, the eastern wing. Transfers play towards centre half-forward. Not a particularly good kick. Central defenders storming out. Well, not sure what happened there, but Stephen Williams has got the footy. Stephen Trigg not too happy about it. Stevens up in front, but the mark has been taken by Melachillis.
Well, Scotty Stevens there was terribly undisciplined. Melachillis had front position. Stevens was Leirising. The rule is if you're behind, you punch, and Stevens didn't. And now, with an 8-point lead, if Melachillis puts this through, Port Adelaide finish the second quarter on a high, they'll only be 2 points down.
You're 100% correct. He should have smashed into that ball and hit it back from whence it came. And Melachillis doesn't miss many.
No, he does not. Here he goes, Tony Melachillis from about 35 metres. Critical goal, straight through the middle. It's half-time, he gets his second. Let's have a score check. There's just 2 points the margin. It's 8 goals, 9 Central. Porter 8 goals, 7. You're watching all of the action on ABC Sport. Umpire Michael Abbott holds the ball aloft and signals this is the start of the second half of this big game. This is the qualifying final between Port Adelaide and Central District, and the Bulldogs in front after trailing by something like 20 points during that first half. There's McGowan's kick. Rowan Smith has it on half-back. Short chip pass. This is Hull in trouble. Girdham tries to tackle him. Hull gets away with it. Long kick towards centre half forward. Wrapping it up easily though, Wakeland goes laterally. Hand passes to his teammate, and that was Windsor. Got the hand pass to Potter, who got one surely too high. And that's the way the umpire saw it. Half back now, hands it off. Stevens, now McKinnon. McKinnon runs through the centre. Good looking kick toward left half forward. No mark taken down there. It falls in front of Cook. And Cook's going to get a free kick. 75 metres out against Fiachi. Good crowd here. Just starting to get a little dark here. Tim Cook, the 20-year-old. Looking for an option. Decides to kick towards centre half forward. A little more beyond that. A little further forward than that. And the safe mark taken by Chalmers.
Chalmers has McKay on the far side, and there's no one within cooey of him. 25 to 30 metres free, takes a bounce, and then the Bulldogs close in. Now they've made a bit of a mess of this. Borlase hands it off to the run and overlap of McKay. Now to half forward he goes. Pedler back onto the ground, can't take it. And Wakeland drops into the spot and takes a good mark.
Doing a pretty solid job at centre half back too. One of the best games I've seen him play.
He and Herrera working through that line and doing it pretty well into the centre of the ground. Little shove out by Ginniver gives Fiachi a chance. Little legs pumping through half forward. Darren Smith's competition was okay. Scott Stevens, loss of feet. Now no propulsion and a chance for Stephen Schwert. Girdham back to Stephen in towards half forward. Tyler sets himself. Looks for all money to have that one from the time it left the boot, and he's got it inside half back.
Yes, good safe mark. Decides to concede ground. Goes to Roger Delaney, who's up the ground. Short pass is okay. That's Borlase. Over the top to R. Smith. R. Smith now on centre wing. Chip pass towards Stephen Williams. Good kick. Good mark.
Stephen Williams just demanded that. Rowan Smith was coming down. He was looking for options, but Williams demanded the ball come to him.
Yes, it was a good piece of play there. Now they've gained about 25 metres. This is Borlase. About 45 metres on a 45-degree angle, about 50 metres out. So the Magpies doing a bit of attacking here. He pops it up in the air. Outstorm the forwards, Smith and Hodges. At the back is McKinnon. And McKinnon gets one a little high. The umpire says, play it on, fellas. Windsor. Now Stevens. Girdham. He's got Wakeland running for him. Decides to go longer than that. Good mark taken by Ellis. A gutsy mark over on the far side. 25 metres. He's a gutsy little player, this man. There's the kick towards centre half forward. Hugh Reimers up in front. Couldn't control it. Tyler and Reimers. Good battle. Reimers getting in front. Now Tyler getting in front. Holding on. Free kick, Tyler.
Tyler did well to take front position. He frustrated Reimers. Reimers tried to pull him off the ball, and in doing so gave away the free kick.
Playing a lot of free kicks, these umpires. I hope they're not trying to upstage the real performers out there, and that's the players. Stephen Williams has jagged a hamstring off of the play. I've got to tell you that as he got it to Rowan Smith. Now it's with Olsen. He breaks free. 49 metres. He thumps it up there. Stephen Williams backward of the players coming off the ground. Well done by Windsor. Punches it to the line, and the veteran Stephen Williams in game number 257. What a sad ending for him. Could be, if anything, the end of his finals campaign. He comes off to be replaced by Damien Angove.
Well, hamstrings can be 3 or 4 weeks, but I think he's played well enough this year that we could probably expect for him to come back again next season.
Just a matter of how bad it is as to how much participation he has in the finals. Well done, Chalmers. Just got the numbers at the ball at the moment. McKay goes short and has Spalding. He can play it on Scotty. Now he decides to do that. 60 metres out, punches it up there. Hodges is well covered. Central boys worked it out. Arnold couldn't get a hand to the ball, or at least mark it. Here's McKinnon. Keeps a play on it. Arnold keeps a play on it and runs it towards the line. The defensive action's been okay. They've got their numbers back. The problem they've got is that when they come out of there, they've just not got the numbers through the midfield.
I think that's a pretty fair assessment, really. The centre line, the Ruck Rovers, the Rovers aren't getting across quick enough. Ellis is still out the far side. He hasn't even come across to this side of play or even into the centre to make up another number.
Central District lead by 2 points. Girdham in trouble. Darren Smith kicks off the ground. Here's Ray Windsor now up the ground, looking for some support and gets it in the form of Wakeland. Wakeland runs away from the defensive area. Good kick to Cook, who caught one just after he took the mark. Didn't worry him. Gives it to Scotty Stevens, running through centre half back. Long kick by the wingman. That's a good kick out into space. Chance for Chalmers. Bad bounce for him though. Chance for Lewis. Chalmers and Lewis. Well done by Potter though. Good work. Short chip is okay to Reimers. Gee, they're looking okay, Central District at the moment. There's Reimers' kick across the face of goal and almost the mark to Handley. Couldn't quite hang on. Fiachi slips it out the back to Delaney, and he goes to Spalding.
Oh, the doggies should have done better than that. This is Spalding on centre wing. They had everything set up. Hanley just let it slip through. He had the sit as well. Pedlar's got the sit at the other end of the ground. This game's starting to open up. The tackling is still fierce, but it's just starting to get a little more free-flowing as McKay gets it back. Got it from Malachelles. Gave it back to him in the old 1-2. Hodges can't quite take it. Central defence is on red alert down there at the moment. McKinnon, Windsor. Series of handballs from Potter. Now Schwert. The good signs for them are that they're running the ball. No one for McKinnon in sight. Has a look now at Hanley, come a long way down from half forward. Hurried kick fortuitous and falls into the arms of Simon Lewis. Now he looks to the right, he looks to the left and goes back to the right and sees Richardson beautifully snared. Needs some support. Play it on, says the umpire. Delaney charges the ball, gets protection from McKay and plays it on centre wing.
Here's Delaney, goes to Spalding. I think the crowd thought that was holding on, and Richardson should have perhaps got a free kick. There's the kick down ground. Oh, good mark taken by Pedlar. No, off hands to S. Hodges, and Scotty's kicked a big goal. First goal to Scott Hodges, and the Magpies are in front.
Really, it's not the sort of goal you're normally used to seeing Scotty Hodges kick. This is a Rovers goal or an opportunist goal. The ball came in, and you wonder about the free kick at the other end, whether it was payable to Richardson, and it streams downfield. Pedlar competes 2-on-1. The loose ball spills to Hodges, who snaps truly on the left boot.
The Central boys just being made to pay for their errors. We're nearly 7 minutes into the third term, and it's such a critical term for them. They need to hold on to keep a sniff at it. Chalmers up over the top, well left by Darren Smith. Big number of black and white jumpers in there as Central arrive late in the scene. Potter throws it over the shoulder. Rowan Smith, now Spalding. They're just starting to get wound up, the Maggies. The centre wing and Malachelles, whose work rate is admirable, gets it inside to Spalding, plays it on to half forward. Hodges sets himself, he's got the sit. Well done Windsor and well done Arnold. Sat it in the front spot. Talk about pressure down there. Well done by McKinnon. He comes out and finds this time McGowan, who's playing just in the right spot. He needs to sit in the midfield to give them something as they come out of defence. And Hereda. Gee, it's a fierce pace at the moment. Half forward he goes, has a look for and finds a player down there who is flattened as he takes the ball, and that's Lewis.
Committed himself beautifully, didn't he? He knew that he was going to be in trouble. He knew that he had Angove coming straight at him, and he didn't deviate at all.
Lewis plays it on in towards some space. If they can find a player, there a chance. Richardson, great take. One goal to his credit so far. He's going to have a shot from around about 45 metres out, but don't be surprised if he goes back to 70 before he has the kick.
Well, Lewis has been spectacular. 10 kicks, 10 marks. He has dominated the half-forward line for the Bulldogs. We thought about whether or not the Bulldogs would bring out Reimers to a half-forward flank and really give them a two-pronged attack. Reimers is playing in a forward pocket because Lewis really is dominating the half-forward line.
So Richardson has gone back to almost centre wing. Roger Delaney's getting on in years. He probably can't see him that far away. Only joking, Roger, when you watch this back. Has a look at it from 49 metres out. He's normally a good kick of the football. Hasn't even made the distance this time, and a good mark's taken back there by Chalmers, who little by little is just working his way into the game.
Short chip pass is okay to Angove, who came onto the field in the second quarter. From the back pocket, kicks toward the wing. Good mark taken by Arnold in front of Olsen, and this big ruckman for Central District. I know Alan Stewart's got high hopes for him. There's the kick by Arnold, well inside 50. Up goes Richardson again, knocked away by Delaney. Where are the crummers for Central District? Rowan Smith, McKay, well done to Borlays, only as far as Schwert though, who bangs it back again. Here's Chopper Handley at the back. Here's Tylor mopping up okay, gives it to Gorgeous George. And George Biaggi across to his skipper, Timmy Ginniver. Now to Delaney, who loves to have a run. Roger, you're in trouble though. Roger Delaney in all sorts of trouble, but the skipper's there to assist. And Ginniver gives it to his co-rover. And Malachelles goes square and finds Borlays, and he is 45 metres out.
Ginniver's goal. If Borlays puts this through, Ginniver just kept coming from deep in the back pocket. He just kept coming. And even the kick out wide to Malachelles was centimetre perfect. It had all the Port Adelaide players running. They were just in unison. He set the whole thing up.
Port Adelaide by 4 points. Borlays from 45 metres, straight as a gun barrel. The crowd go up. 2 goals to Bulldogs, and the Magpies in front by 10 points.
There are moments in matches where just a little thing that happens sets it up. Jennifer sets off the handball, gets Delaney going, then follows down. Now look how he picks it up and pivots, and in the one motion distributes it beautifully to Malakalis. Now it just allowed all the Port Adelaide players to be running free. There were 3 or 4 options, including Rowan Smith, that were free.
Nearly 11 minutes into the third quarter, 10 points to difference, and the Magpies, who have been rampant in the last 9 weeks, just holding the challenger at arm's length at the moment. Torpedo punt from 1 step from Bulldogs. McKinnon running with the flight of the ball. Really needed to take it, Marty. Couldn't in the end, but Central will get out of trouble through Hereda. Handball or short kick over the top will find Healy, who can play it on centre wing. He does that. You might as well kick long, Daniel, because there's not much there. Has a look at Girdham. Little push out. Has to be, yes. Well, you can argue with it, George, but it was there, son.
I think he is arguing.
And so Girdham being called to play on. I couldn't quite work that out. George had loved the tackling there. Protection provided. Angove's knocked off of the ball by the very burly Potter. The kick is very awkward. Well done by Delaney. Kept a smash on it and kept it forward. They pounce in over the football, and you can bet your life it'll be a square ball.
Well, that was one of the best off-the-ball shepherds you'll ever see from Potter. Angove was running down Girdham, and Potter just stepped in and went crunch and allowed Girdham to get away his kick.
So the margin 10 points. The Magpies lead. It's up in the attacking zone for Central District as Tylor gets the hand pass moving. This is Borlase very close to the line, and the ball eventually over the line, and there'll be a throw in.
This looks to me to be Central District back at their best. They're harassing, tackling, smothering best. We haven't seen this for a month, but they're really getting their act together today.
Still 10 points the margin. Wouldn't they love a goal? McKay, who hasn't been as dominant today as he has over the last 7 or 8 weeks on his wing, and there'll be another ball up.
Port Adelaide bench. They would be very concerned. Alan Stewart, at least he's got some honesty out there today. He's lamented the fact in the last 4 weeks that his sides have been cheating themselves. I think he'd be comfortable at the fact that they've given their all so far.
Chalmers, kick and a miss. In over the ball now is Borlase. Second effort's okay. Thinks he gets one too high, but the umpire's having nothing of that. And we'll have a repeat bounce. This is Football Park in September. The qualifying final in 1994, and the winner will play the Eagles here next Saturday. Malakalis off of the ground, and Brian was in just the right spot to take it. Short he goes, touches the hand of Darren Smith, who's had a fairly quiet day. Well done by Wakeland, keeps a play on the ball, and Scott Stevens in the end closes him down.
Look at the desperation of both sides. We were commenting about the Bulldogs and their effort. What about Port Adelaide? Really unbeaten in that 50-50 ball area generally. They're being matched today.
Certainly the Bulldogs with more urgency today. Senneman McGowan from 1 step gets it up there. Good use of the body by Richardson. He got clocked from the front by Wakeland, whilst he was being mauled from behind by Delaney. Little shovel forward. Here now is Carter. Presence of mind to take a little bit of time. And got it to Malakalis. Now the smooth moving Hull towards half forward he goes. The option is beautifully put. Beautifully dispatched to Geneva, plays on with a hand on the jumper, still gets it towards Hodges, who's been well blanketed today by that man Ray Windsor. Plays it onto McKinnon. The Bulldogs are out of trouble.
Yes, excellent work by that fullback Windsor. McKinnon's kick's a good one, gets it to Healy. And Healy, a rangy type from the point of the defensive square. Good kick by Healy. That's terrific work to Ellis. Spalding late on the scene, and Ellis showed a lot of courage there because he could see Spalding coming at him. Here's Ellis's kick. Kicks inside 50. Looking down ground for a teammate. Wonderful mark taken by Delaney. At the back, Richardson in front, and just be a bit careful here, Richardson.
Well, I think it's fair enough. Roger takes a big mark. Richardson grabs him and holds him in, which the coach tells you to do. Delaney took exception to it, and I think Richardson had to stand up for himself, which he did.
I thought there might have been something a little more harsh in there, but nonetheless, Delaney's kick to the wing. Here's Healy on his stomach. Cook picks up, gets around the congestion. A chance now for Schwert. He's made a difference. Long kick by Schwert. This will bounce in the field of play, and they'll clear it away through Chalmers, and now Tylor, and now Delaney.
That full back line's holding up pretty well. Central District need Hugh Reimers to go down onto the full forward line and sit there, so they've got something to punch the ball at the moment. Whenever they lift the eyes, there's nothing there. McKay kicks into the man on the mark. And it goes across the line. So Girdham still the 1% account up for him. McKay, I'll bet he's suggesting that he was over the mark, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be a boundary throw-in. Right half forward. The Dogs need one while it's down there. They're 10 points in arrears at the moment. We're 15 minutes into the third quarter. The tackling remains fierce, far side. Arnold throws himself over the ball, and it's on. Well, it was bound to happen.
I'm sure they would have exceeded their tackles from last week, Stephen, where they only had something like 15 against West Adelaide. And you point out quite correctly, the tackling is very fierce. There's Melikelis, who appeared to get tripped and will get a free kick.
I think the umpires were wise there. Just issue a free kick, open up play and get it moving again.
Here's Borlase going over the top to Spalding. One gets the feeling something pretty spectacular is about to happen. Angove 85 metres out with a long bomb. Hodges at the back, and also Olsen. He's taken it. Olsen has taken the grab in the left forward pocket.
He was in the right position, wasn't he? Right at the back, and the ball came in long. Wakeland just couldn't get there to apply a spoil. He plays on to Ginnivan, and Ginnivan gets it. Runs into the open goal, the skipper, and you won't see a happier man than that. That's Ginnivan's third, and he really has been spectacular. 12 kicks, 9 handballs, and 3 goals. And Olsen just makes a mockery of the Bulldog defence. That's the reason he just put the handball out. He just made the Bulldog defence look stupid. He could have gone back and kicked it himself, but Ginnivan running into an unprotected goal was even better. It's motivational.
Interchange being made. Paul coming on. 11-7 plays 8-9. The focus is on the forwards who do the finishing, but I can tell you that midfield is where Port Adelaide are just starting to get the edge. And a rebound in the middle. So the challenge is fairly at the squeak of the Bulldogs at the moment. 16 points in arrears. They trailed by something like that in the second term before they fought back. Arnold, the half forward, well done. Girdham takes a good mark.
Could almost kick this.
Courageous as always. He'd be a brave man to predict that he could kick it. I reckon he's just beyond range. Pedlar's the man coming off for Paul, who comes on. And want to be his very, very best kick. He puts it right up towards the line. They want a bit of luck. Touched on the line. In fact, it's hit the post, through for one behind. So 11-7 plays 8-10. 15 points the difference.
73 plays 58. Just over 2 goals, the margin here in favour of the Magpies. Delaney goes long and towards centre half back. Look at Central District. Gee, they're there in numbers though, aren't they? Cook's got the footy. They've got him. He gets the hand pass away. This is McKinnon. Long kick. Delaney's got his eyes on the footy. Richardson down there with him. Hello?
Free kick to Delaney.
So the behind doesn't stand. Still 15 points in it. And the Dodger, Roger the Dodger, will clear the zone.
I bet if the Bulldogs fans had 3 wishes at the moment, one would be to get someone tall down that full forward line to take a catch for them. The other 2 would probably be more general. Just put us in front, because the Maggies at the moment starting to run over the top of them. That man, Jack Taylor, would be pretty pleased sitting up in the coach's box. 22 years of coaching. It's a long time to survive, isn't it? Stints at West Adelaide and Collingwood, as well as many, many years with his beloved Magpies. Just a little poke in the face there from someone. And they've just got a little bit touchy. I think George would like to go on with it. Certainly got plenty to say, hasn't he? He's a belligerent little character. Chalmers, thumped away by Lewis. That's got to be in the back to Girdham. Didn't get paid. Be okay if they're consistent with it. Just let it go. Here's Potter. Now the umpire's found a free kick, and it will go Port Adelaide's way.
Holding on.
So Melikelis hands it back, and Stephen Carter will take it inside of half-back. Carter, 4 kicks and 6 handballs off of his half-back flank. A little undisciplined and probably had some trouble with Hanley early. Well taken by Girdham, whose stint at half-forwards been reasonably productive. Girdham, what's happened there? The umpire's pulled him back 25 metres, so Roger Girdham will have another kick from outside the 50-metre line. 15 points the difference, 20 minutes into the third quarter. Girdham sets it up. They need someone to take a big one down there. They can't do it this time. Port Adelaide come down with the ball. Ellis applies the pressure and will have a bounce down.
Robertson about to come on, who was named as a rover initially. spent all of the time so far on the bench. There's McGowan doing the ruck work. Comes to Ellis. Now Hereda gets it across to McKinnon, in a lot of trouble. Lures. Swings out. Potter. Oh, stolen by Borlase. Gee, that was good footy, wasn't it? Up to Rowan Smith. And Darren is down there as well. This is R. Smith getting the hand pass moving. Darren, intelligent footy. Kicks inside 50. Wakeland, who's done pretty well. Poole wasn't able to run him down. Wakeland's kick is okay. Brian Hereda, big Brian Hereda at centre halfback, changes direction somewhat. That's a terrible kick, Brian. Not good at all. And Ginniver, who's having a blinder of a quarter, up he goes to left half forward. Here's Darren Smith, couldn't pick it up, lost sight of the footy completely. Malakellis, gee, knocked over out of the way there by Windsor. It's tough and uncompromising at the moment. Darren Smith gets it to Scotty Hodges, who's a long way out. He might kick this from 45 metres. He has kicked it. Well, no, he's missed. Good effort. Blood nose to Scotty Hodges, 11-8. Plays 8-10.
So the Bulldogs finally make that change. Robertson comes on. And Ellis went off. So Port Adelaide are threatening, there's no doubt about that. 11-8 plays 8-10. 16 points the difference. Time of reckoning for the Bulldogs. It's going to be tough next week if they have to play in the first semi-final. And Hanley, who's worked so very hard off of half forward, gets it. 11 kicks and 3 handballs to him this afternoon. It's not been a bad performance. McKinnon, similar sort of statistics. Plays it on. Gets around the player on the mark. He's a polished little performer. Gets it to half forward and he's got Reimers. I really wish he would go and stand down on that full forward line, because this is where they get into trouble. Roger will sit back and go the big spoil, just like that. And Central District can't read it off hands. George Fiacci does it the best. Ginniver set upon, still gets it away. And Fiacci does it with poise, doesn't he? Goes towards halfback, spoiled away. McKinnon on the back play is not bad. Loss of feet could be costly. Still comes out towards Stevens. They need a goal desperately. Healy's polished. Left leg has a look at them, and what's he done? He's missed. Desperately needed that one. 22.5 minutes into the third quarter. Bit of symmetry about the scoreline. 11-8 plays 8-11, 15 points to difference. Not only did he have a blood nose, he kicked the last goal to make it 2. That's the decision. So there was some sort of a scrap going down in that goal square. Port Adelaide, the recipient of the free kick. And they've made the most of it. 24 minutes into the third quarter. The Bulldogs got it back to square. In fact, they were 2 points in front at half-time, having reeled in an 8-point deficit at quarter-time. But Port Adelaide, powerful as always, have just pulled away in the last part of this third quarter.
21 points the margin. Hodges just cleaning himself up. So an important period of time now for Central District. They've done very well so far to stay with Port Adelaide. There's Healy in all sorts of trouble. McKinnon, who's a thoroughbred, gets the hand pass moving. Gee whiz, McGowan, that was a rough and tough hit on the body then, and he's up and okay. One of the chances for the McGarry medal.
Just on the doorstep of time on. And that McGarry medal, of course, with you on Tuesday night on ABC Sport at 8:30. McGowan's one of the chances. Tony Malakellis has been brilliant out here. No votes today, but he will have scored well during the season. Girdham goes up towards the full forward line. Centrals are broken down here. Cook needs to get a one clean take on it and have a quick look. Catapults himself at the ball, can't take it, and again the Port Adelaide defence holds firm. It's been a little bit like a broken record throughout this third quarter. They just keep repelling every central entry, and they've held pretty firm. 25.5 minutes into the third quarter. It's 12-8 to 8-11. Represents 21 points the difference. Chalmers gets a little punch into it. Ginniver, so too there is Carter. Central wouldn't have played their best shot at it yet, but that first 10 minutes coming up at the last quarter is going to be critical for them. We'll have a boundary thrown on the far side. Tim Cook has a couple of goals today. On the other side of the ledger, Ginniver has 3. Scott Hodges has a couple, as does Daryl Borlays and Tony Malakellis.
So the margin still 21 points. As time is ticking away, three-quarter time approaching. Perfect conditions for football, and I'm sure the local league would be ecstatic with the turnout. 26 minutes gone, third quarter. The winner of this match to play the Eagles in the second semi next week. Glenelg out of contention, Norwood winning the elimination final earlier. Stevens, far side, runs it out of bounds. Good crowd, something like 20,000. I think it was 18-odd thousand last year. I wonder whether they've exceeded that today. I guess the Crows not playing would have made a difference. There's the kick toward Darren Smith territory. Chance now for McGowan. The hand pass not all that good. Hereda doing some strong tackling. Girdham's been very active. Potter with a clever hand pass to McKinnon. In trouble though. Got his hand pass away to Healy. He was under enormous duress. A chance now for Abbott. Well done. Terrific work. Robertson, who's come onto the ground. Short pass. Nothing special about that. And Tyler was able to wrap it up, gives it to Roger the Dodger. He gives it to Gorgeous George, who got himself into all sorts of trouble there, Fiarchi. And as a result, they've kept it in the area, Central District. An important play.
Partners in crime down there, George and Roger, and they've repelled so many central entries throughout this quarter, it's just not funny. They've kept them out time and time again. Big pack of players. Robertson is number 50 in the foreground, came onto the ground just a few moments ago. Tyler gets it away to Spalding, who's been solid from halfback. He's got one spare over the top as Ango. And off of the ground today for him. Good looking short pass. Drop punt that traversed just probably 25 metres. Now Carter has a look at it, puts up towards Hodges, who looks ominous as the game goes on. Second take at it, couldn't grab it in the end. Poole is chunky, can't quite take it himself. Back on the second effort was magnificent. Wraps up Central player. The ball runs across the line, and it's gone through for a behind.
Yes, have a look at Wakeland just a little further forward, but there's Hodges, 2-3 grabs, and he's pleading with the umpire to give it to him. And Wakeland, only moments after that, just stood there, wasn't sure what to do with it. Windsor goes short to Abbott, who gets a lot of injuries. He's a very tough customer, goes in fearlessly. Short passes okay to Wakeland. In the back pocket, they haven't gained a lot. Short passes on, now they're starting to get things moving. Here's Schwert, who has made a difference. Ingerson off the ground with an injury. Short pass by Schwert, just falls short of its mark. McKinnon back to Schwert, still mucking around with it at half-back. Now goes with something a little longer. Good kick up toward left half forward. Lewis there. Well done, and gets the hand pass away. Here's Robertson over the top to Girdham. Back he goes to Potter. Potter running around. Short pass goes laterally. Brian Hereda, 85 metres out. Decides to go short. Little chip pass is okay. And they've got a big chance here to score a goal, Central District. That's their full forward, Adam Richardson. And as Stephen has said, they've just fallen down. There's the siren at three-quarter time. So what an important goal this is, Stephen.
Absolutely critical kick. Now he's going to shoot from about 48 or 49 metres, but as always, he takes such a long run up.
It's gone back to full back.
And poor old Roger Delaney on the marks, probably wondering where he is off in the haze.
Already has one. Adam Richardson lining up. 45 metres out. There's the kick on its way. It looks pretty good, long and strong. Well, do you think they didn't need that? It's three-quarter time here at Football Park. Richardson gets his second. It's 12-9 to 9-11.
And
And Stephen Trigg, I suppose if you're looking at, and we are at currently on our camera, looking at the Dogs, bringing back players like Swert, Ingerson and McKinnon back into that side. That's it's not easy, is it, to come back from AFL level and for Stewart to put them in and integrate them into a final side with only a couple of days prep.
Now, I think they needed them quite desperately, but they're three players who wanted to play finals. They wanted to play for Central District, and what it's meant for the Doggies is, of course, that the bottom end, where they've struggled in terms of players of class, and a good enough class to play in the finals, have dropped out of the rear end of the side, and so they've been strengthened by that, there's no doubt. But of course, Neville, the thing that they've been looking for is the commitment. They've had it today. The only thing they couldn't do to that third quarter was get a conversion. And
now our cameras are on the Port Adelaide camp. John Carley's been in this situation many, many times. I'm sure he'll be happy with the lead. Right behind him is Stephen Williams. He and Jennifer, as veterans, they're important to them, aren't they, Steve?
Certainly are, and he has been in the business for 22 years. He knows the importance of winning them in close in the clinches. Stephen Williams, with a hamstring strain, is going to be missed, and I guess if Port Adelaide are going to win this game, and premature as that may seem, if they're going to win this game and go on with it without Stephen Williams, it's going to be very important. Alan Stewart walking off of the ground at the moment. One of his players we were just speaking about in Marty McKinnon. He's had the most possessions on the ground today, 14 kicks and 11 handballs, and throughout this last quarter, he, along with some of those other star-studded players, are going to have every little bit of their mettle as they take on Port Adelaide, who have got just a scent of victory.
So right, and just before we get started, David, I suppose you'd have to give some credit to the tackle rate, the aggressiveness of the Dogs. Maybe they learnt that from Bruce Winter and the way the Eagles attack Port Adelaide. Certainly not last week, but prior to that.
I think that's where Port Adelaide are vulnerable. If you really attack them, as Central and the Eagles have done earlier in the year, they are vulnerable in that area. Central's, I think, last week only applied 16 tackles for the whole game against West Adelaide. They're normally at 45, 50, so they're up around that rate today.
Okay, well, things not far away from being ready for the final quarter of the qualifying final between Port Adelaide and the Dogs. A 16-point margin to Port Adelaide. I'll hand over to Mark Aston to take up the call for the final quarter of the qualifying final.
Yes, it should be an enthralling last 30 minutes. Umpire Ron Bettridge about to get things underway here at Football Park. A big crowd, about 20-odd thousand. And the winner to slot straight into the second semi next week against the Eagles. Will it be Port Adelaide, or will Central District pull off a memorable victory? Port Adelaide came into the game. They were long odds-on favourites. There was no doubt about that. But they'd won their last 9, and Central have had a horror 2 months. Their form dropping right away, but they've certainly played very well so far today. Here's Hull from 75 metres out. Long bomb to Hodges, who's one out with Windsor. Hodges now going in to do the hard work on the ground. Tried to knock it to the advantage, and does to Melakelis, who's being held onto and harassed by Swert. Chance now for Wakeland. Kicks to half-back. Stevens, McKay, and both over the line.
Inside a minute, and if Central District are to win this game, they really need the first couple to give them that belief. They've turned around that 5 out of the last 6 disappointments, and they've converted it into a positive self-belief today. They've been committed very hard. The bench would be buoyed by it, but they'd also be a little concerned at the moment, trailing by 16 points.
What would Alan Stewart have said, Stephen?
I reckon there's a simple message. You don't get too complicated. It's just keep working, keep attacking the body, and get the turnover so that we can get the football back in our possession. The thing they need is somebody up there to take a mark for them. Here now is McKay, inside half forward, pushes it up there, but Wakeland has played superbly at half-back. He's stitched up firstly Pedler, and then the resting Ruckman, but that's not so good. Dear, oh dear. Michael Wakeland, what an error. And you can see the wind go out of the sails of the Central boys temporarily.
Scotty Hodges just coming over and congratulating Wakeland on that terrible kick, really rubbing salt into the wounds.
Former Port man himself, and he wouldn't be happy with that. Now you're going to get a good idea of the shot from here. Melakelis has been industrious throughout the day. And if anything, the breeze is just coming from his left to right, so he probably needs to take a little of the left post. Starts it out to the right, and it ends up there. Good mark. Taken by Brian Herrera, whose settling influence at centre half back has been very good.
Yes, he's such an important player, isn't he, for this Central outfit. Oh, picked up brilliantly, though, by Borlase, and the kick is offline, well offline. Herrera will get a second shot at it. This time he's going to transport it 20 metres, and then chip passes about 35 metres down ground. Handley was the target. Well done. Knocks it to his skipper. This is Gurdon. Oh, Rowan Smith, very good. Girdham didn't hear him coming or see him coming, and Rowan Smith has turned this around superbly. Chance for Carter now. They might make them pay the ultimate price. And Carter runs inside 50, short pass to Darren Smith. And the Port crowd are pretty pleased with that. D. Smith, one of the stalwarts here at Port Adelaide, been playing for the club at league level for something like 10 years. Played every game, I think it was, in 1984 and missed the final. So here he is. Inside 50, about 48 metres out. Drop punt from Darren, and he's jagged that across the face. And I think the mark has been taken inside the field of play. It has.
Some bad signs for Central there coming through the midfield. Roger Girdham took a bounce, a tentative bounce, because there were just no options there. Plays it on. Comes into the field. Schwert couldn't take it. He looks very, very tired. Olsen conversely looks very fresh. But he's missed that one despite the Port Adelaide cheers. Offline and through for one behind. So 82 plays 65. 17 points the difference.
31 goals for the year, Troy Olsen. He's been terrific considering he's missed a couple of games in the reserves.
There's Windsor's kick to the far side, knocked over the line. So Central just going off the boil at the moment. Alan Stewart having a good long think about the situation. Wouldn't he love to take them through to at least win one final, for heaven's sake? They haven't won a final in 22 years. The elimination final, the result, Norwood defeating Glenelg by 44 points.
And remember, of course, that if Central lose today, they will face Norwood in the first semi-final next week. And it was Norwood last year in the elimination final that knocked out Central District.
Arnold gets up high. Can't direct the ball quite where he wants it to be. Rowan Smith, not enough pressure now. Come on, Centrals, you have to put it on them. Geneva gets around the body. That's the result of no pressure, no urgency, and Malakellis has got it 45 metres out.
Well, the Rovers have destroyed Central District. Geneva has 3, Malakellis has 2 goals, and a pretty high possession rate. 11 kicks, 9 handballs.
He's got some penetration in the leg and shoots from 50. Pops it right up there, gives it every good chance. They fly. Windsor smashes it through for one behind. The margin is back into 16 points, and we're 5 minutes into the last quarter. Time, well, it's not run out for Central, but they need to do something, and they need to do it very smartly.
18 points the margin. Ray Windsor this time favours the western half-back flank. Good kick, and he finds Brian Hereda, who's now tucked away in the back pocket. Short chip pass, low. Finds Arnold, back to Hereda. And Hereda goes down ground, and he finds Robertson. It was a pretty smooth move up. Centre wing, started on the interchange. Good kick toward Reimers, couldn't control it. Carter, still with Carter, and then defensively to the boundary line.
You've got to say Carter has done a good job on Chopper Hanley. Hanley has in fact not scored a goal. It's been a pretty quiet afternoon for him in total. He's only had, 12 kicks and 3 handballs, 15 possessions, but not his normal effective self.
He had most of those through the second term when he broke away, and other than that, as you quite rightly say, Carter's been well on top, sneaks out to the pugnacious Fiacci, and ends up in the arms of Chalmers, who, as this game has gone on, has become just a little better. 3 Bulldogs to 2 Port Adelaide players. They should win it, shouldn't they? Or are they going to make a mess of it? Hereda challenged, lost the ball. The rangy Olsen arrives late on the scene and bundles it towards the line as Simon Pedler gets himself organised to come on.
18 points. Port Adelaide's lead. Pedler getting set to come onto the ground. Here's Olsen again. He's had a number of touches in the last. Darren Smith running the same way as the footy. And the mark has been taken by Wakeland. Poole standing over him. That'd be a sight, wouldn't it?
Just a little rib tickler there.
Olsen off, Poole on. Olsen off, and Pedler on.
So this is Michael Wakeland, deep in his defensive zone. Handley right over the top. Ricochets to McKay, runs into Stevens, and there'll be another ball up. Gee, it's tight, isn't it? 3 straight kicks the difference. Probably 25 minutes left in this qualifying final. We've played 7 minutes. The next goal critical. Central need it. High kick by Spalding. Geneva. Ricochets to Fiacci. High kick. They converge on the football. Good mark taken by Pedler. He's only just come on. from the middle of the ground. Long kick, inside 50. Darren Smith falls over and Ray Windsor takes the mark. In fact, they all fall down.
Fair amount of pushing going on in there. Windsor flees the scene. Not a bad idea either. Robertson, energetic as always, gets it at half back. Hands it off now to the rangy Healy. He goes to half forward flank. He's got Lewis, who's taken a number of marks at centre half forward throughout the day and has provided an option. 10 marks, in fact 11 marks for him. And he's now at 70 metres from goal. Going towards the southern and he pops it up. Hanley used the body well and must get a free kick.
Intelligent play, wasn't it? Just sheer experience. The young bull and the old bull. Hanley got there first, just positioned himself, turned and won the free.
Certainly was experienced. Took a bit of a dive too, didn't he? Just to make sure that it was known.
Well, should have taken a bow after the free kick was given.
Now that game that you're seeing on screen at the moment went to extra time and was very tight, but North Melbourne won one of the qualifying finals of 4 in Melbourne. And Hanley, things have just slowed a little bit. Now this is the time for Central District where they need to get their heads in gear. They've just slowed down. They need a spark. They need one of their senior players to engineer something for them to get them moving. They can't just afford to float and let it happen. Let's have a look at Chopper Hanley. Very important Chopper. Umpire doesn't move a muscle except to put 2 fingers up, so the margin's into 12 points. Port Adelaide at 12-11. The Bulldogs are in with a chance at 10-11. We're 9 minutes into the last quarter.
And they'll need Hanley, they'll need Lewis, and they'll need Richardson. They need their firepower up forward. We've already mentioned earlier in the commentary that the goal-scoring ability of the Bulldogs rests with Reimers, Richardson, Lewis and Hanley. They need one of those players to get a couple of goals quickly.
North Melbourne defeating Hawthorn by 23 points in that second qualifying final. That was in extra time. Back in the centre. Awkward bounce there for, as it turned out, Paul got it. Kicked it to the far side of the ground. A chance for McKinnon. Here they go. Potter in trouble. So too is Girdham.
Good little signs there, just flicking it around. The reflex isn't bad, and Port Adelaide know that this game is not won yet. They've got so much to prove this year. You get the feeling that they want to win just to fuel that AFL aspiration that they have, and that has almost divided the SANFL community at the moment. Tense in terms of the spectators as well. Although some time for a laugh, probably because the camera's about 3 inches from her face at the moment. Back in the middle of the ground. Poole takes up his fair space of the ground, doesn't he? McKinnon gets a quick leg to the ball, and Carter gets a soft free kick in the centre. So Stephen Carter, in game number 20, punches it towards half forward in the 50-metre line. Well done by Arnold. Sat on the back play. He's very tall and took a good mark.
Gives it to Schwert, who runs away from Darren Smith, goes over the top. This is Abbott conceding ground, gets it back to Schwert. Well done. Central District mounts some sort of a charge on the far side. Hanley got caught with a foot, he didn't have it. An important free kick for Chopper.
Well, he lets the umpires know, doesn't he? There's just a little touch there, bang.
Plays on, the arms. Plays on quickly, high kick. Robertson getting underneath it, he's taken a mark. Well, they've got a big chance here. Paul standing the mark, and Robertson will shoot from about 25 metres.
And I thought that given the domination of Tim Ginniver and Tony Malakalis, it might well have been that Robertson could have been used earlier, but he sat most of the first half on the interchange bench and was used late in the third quarter.
Well, Brendan Robertson, this is an important one. It's a critical one. From 25 metres, chips it high, and he's got it. And the Bulldogs won't lie down, and the crowd go berserk here at Footy Park. It's 83-77, one straight kick the difference.
And Robertson won a reserves McGarry with Sturt. And a lot of people thought about Alan Stewart when he recruited him that he'd pulled a faux pas. But this kid has been courageous all year. He's given them bite, he's given them drive, and he's given them aggression. And now he's given them a chance in this qualifying final.
ABC Sport bringing you the 1994 McGarry Medal on Tuesday night at 8:30. Join us for that. And this afternoon for the qualifying final, the last quarter between Port Adelaide and Central District, 12 minutes in. Live throughout South Australia and the Northern Territory. Hope you're enjoying our coverage. The Bulldogs, if you're a fan, they're starting to march home. Here comes the Bulldogs. It's given out from the captain, Girdham. Stevens couldn't make much of it, so Borlase comes in and gets a free kick at half-back.
Well, they were off, weren't they?
Here, could you lip read? Girdham said, what for? Just for pushing the back.
Just a little breathing space for the Magpies. There is 6 points in it. And the feisty George Fiarchi takes it at half-back. Potter is standing the mark. Now similar for both sides at the moment. There just aren't the options ahead of the play. There's some tiredness in this game. Smith. How's the old saying go? The further the game goes, the slower the short players get, but the talls don't get any shorter. Well done to Hodges, and here's another tall.
Run that by me again.
I think it means that the small players get slower as the game goes on, but the tall players don't get any shorter. Does that sound all right?
Well, if you have a look at Smith and Hodges in the air, if Hodges can kick a goal here, it might well be true.
Hodges from 50. Central fans with their fingers crossed, and it worked. Because Scotty's dragged it off the instep. He doesn't add to his 2. Over the line and on the full. 12-11 to 11-11. 6 points the difference.
Marvellous what 8,000 cross fingers can do. Here's McKinnon from the back pocket. Transfers play to half-back and straight to Darren Smith, do you mind? He did look tall then, and he's going to blast this to the front of the goal square. 2-on-2, Hodges from the side. Pedler swings around and kicks a goal. No, touched. Touched. 7 points the margin.
He's been in pretty good form recently. His best is 4 goals, 3 against Glenelg in round 24. He's come good at the right end of the season, Pedler, but he did spend quite a deal of time on the interchange bench this afternoon.
Well, they haven't got much out of that. Came from Windsor, short to half-back, and Abbott to Wakeland. Bulldogs are going cross-country at the moment. I think they need to get their map out and compass, get it out the heel of the shoe and see if they can find their direct way home. McKinnon runs into trouble, but he's all class. He gets it away to Healy. Now they start to mount something again. Robertson runs into a brick wall and the turnover happens. Half-back flank. If Central can keep it in the air, it's about as good as they can hope for. And instead of building and being on the full forward line, it's a turnover, and in front of 22,000 odd people, or 21,000 odd people. Great crowd. For the elimination and qualifying final, it's a bounce down at half forward.
7 points. Port Adelaide holding on at the moment. Potter overruns it. Healy with Potter. Also Cook held on to. Umpire agrees. Much of the crowd don't. Critical kick this one. There's Cook's kick. Looking for Lewis. 2 against 1. Over the top goes Tylor. Kicked off the ground. A chance for Lewis again. No, it's out of bounds.
David Mackay, surely they have to have a tall down there, don't they, on that full forward line at the moment? Richardson is a leader. He's been outgunned in the air, and they don't have a tall down there, Central.
Well, I think the idea is get them out across half forward. That's where they've been winning, and they need to finish it from half forward. That's Reimer's job. Oh, and there he is.
Well, you can't complain about that, can you? He appeared on the scene late, but he did it from half forward.
No, well, the point I'll make is that they played him out of a forward pocket, and he didn't have much impact on the game, so they've moved him out to half forward in the hope that him and Lewis become a 2-pronged attack, and it may pay a dividend.
The only problem I see with that is that they just don't have an option up in the full forward line when they're under pressure to bang it up there and see if they can get one to take a mark. But Hugh Reimers, well, Hughie, in this your 74th game, it's probably your most important kick of your career. Nailed it. What a magnificent qualifying final. 1 point the difference. The Magpies are in front, and we have a great game on our hands on ABC Sports. 16 minutes into the last quarter.
Well, there's only a point the margin now, and look at Reimers. Look at the athleticism. He covered 25 metres, while a lot of other players only covered perhaps 10 or 15. He really did make some ground to gather that mark. And when he kicked truly. This guy is a player of the future.
Back in the centre. We hope you're enjoying this on ABC TV Sport. It's Arnold from the left and Chalmers from the right. A critical exit here from either side. Robertson very good to Potter. And Potter goes down ground. Great kick. He was looking down there for Richardson, who fell over. Delaney comes in and just happy to see it over the line.
How good was that from Delaney? The fans are off of their aluminium seats. But Roger the Dodger, who's been around for a long time, and to just sneak a fist over the shoulder there and spoil it away when it looked for all money as though Richardson had it was something special.
So just the 1 point in it. Here's Robertson. Gee whiz, he is playing very well. Spalding. Okay, bounce for him. You'll have to get rid of it because Lewis is tracking you. There's the kick out wide, up to Pedler territory. Also McKinnon there. This will be an interesting one. Gets the hand pass. Well done to Spalding. Spalding now sprints away. Kicks inside 50. Down ground to Hodges. Knocked away brilliantly there by Windsor. Into the forward pocket. A chance for Healy. Overruns the football. The pressure is intense at the moment. Ginniver had it kicked away from him. Hodges back to Rowan Smith. gets it to Melakillis, 35 metres out, he misses to the right-hand side. Very tense, the margin 2 points.
It was sloppy work defensively by the Bulldogs on that occasion. They had the chance to go to the boundary line or even shepherd for one another. They didn't do it, and it gave Port Adelaide a shot for goal.
Prolific number of possessions from halfback. And centre wing for Stevens. He gets it away to Robertson. The former double blue puts it towards centre wing. Reimer sets himself and it's smashed away from the back by number 15, Daryl Wakeland. So some tension all around. Alan Stewart will be feeling it in the box. They'd love to break the hoodoo. The long drought between winning finals is just a couple of points away and maybe 10 minutes. But they need some sparks still. Borlase leads in the race for the ball, and another one goes to the boundary line. The umpire calls it over.
Oh, it's a free kick. It's not a throw in. Potter's got the free kick.
Wonderful tackler. One of the catalysts that Central District have, along with Girdham and McGowan. And this man has played superbly from half-back and back pocket. Michael Wakeland, 12 and 2 out of a back pocket for him. He's got one wide. Tracking wide now is Windsor. He's come off of his leash. Looks for half-forward. They need a mark and they've got one. So Lewis continues to be good. That's Martin Threadgold, the Central head trainer, up out of the chair and feeling the pinch. The whites of the eyes are showing in towards half-forward, and Reimers has got it.
That's his job, to supply a lead at half-forward and find the ball.
Short to Cook, and Cook's taken it 45 from goals.
It's been pretty good today, Cook, too. 2 goals in the first half.
Port Adelaide won the toss, and they elected to kick with what breeze there was. The scoreline between them this year is Port Adelaide at 2, Central at 1. Their only win was in round 10. They just might snare this one yet. Cook has a look at them. It goes across the face of goals. And instead of a 2-point margin, it's back into 1, and we're 19 and a half minutes into the last quarter.
Have a look at Port Adelaide. They can't believe it. They're almost shell-shocked that they should be in this position. I think in their hearts they thought that playing against the Bulldogs would be pretty handy.
Well, there were long odds on favourites, David. There was no doubt about that. Here's a loose ball. Potter first there. Well done. Gets the hand pass to Marty McKinnon. And Marty McKinnon kicks inside 50 down ground for Richardson. Knocked away from him. Chance for Cook. Needed the hand pass to be clean. A chance now for Girdham. It's a high kick. This will be tough to mark. Up goes Carter. Couldn't control it. Picked up by Wakeland. Fiarchi through the traffic. Over to his old mate Delaney. From the back pocket, Roger Delaney's kickers pinpoint to McKay. Port Adelaide with a chance to build now from half-back down to Darren Smith territory. Over his head, opportunity for Abbott. Well done. Got caught though in the end. Poole throws it out. Ginniver, long kick inside 50. One-on-one, Hodges and also Windsor. Well done by Swirt, gets it to Windsor. And Windsor gives it across to Wakeland. What a great game of footy this is.
Magnificent game, and how good do you think it was from Roger Delaney at the other end of the ground just half a minute ago. He elected to come to grandstand side, saw only the balding head of Scott Stevens, so he went straight down the middle and got McKay. Meanwhile, centre wing, this is McKinnon. Stylish as always, the centre of the ground, and thump goes Cook and gets a 25-metre penalty. Well, there's not much Ango could do about that. He was committed.
Well, Ango really attacked it, and Cook knew he was coming. He could hear it. But look at the courage the little rover showed, and that's one of the reasons he's developed into a top rover. Short to Lewis. Lewis, I thought, could have lunged himself at the ball. Stephen Schwert looks very, very tired. He gives some ground to Healy to get it around the body. Gives it back to Rowan Smith far too easily. His direct opponent, they just fall around with it. Handball from Tyler goes over the top. Look at that, engaging the turbocharger now as Angove inside half forward, but Abbott holds firm and, well, doesn't he relieve some pressure? It's on the ground and it's up here in the grandstand. Just as well Abbott marked that. It could have been a turning point in the game, that Healy handball that went astray.
He's almost been impenetrable, hasn't he, Abbott? And Central District with another chance. Hugh Reimers can't take the mark off his shins. He's got a great chance here if he can only get away from Wakeland. Does so. Stevens traps it nicely. Inside 50, it's a terrible kick. It's rolling, and it rolls out of bounds in the right forward pocket.
I'll tell you, that was a shot for goal. It was a shot for goal by a very tired man. Johnny Cale, look, he can't believe it. The intensity, he ages before your very eyes.
I knew you were going to say that. It's a good line, but he does. He ages. Look at Hanley now. Has a look at them. It's going to be very close. And how close can you get it? Not only is that a close kick, the scoreboard just can't get any closer. 12-13 apiece. 22 and a half minutes into the last quarter, and watch for the reaction. He can't believe it as Delaney gives Port Adelaide another chance.
Well, you kick those and you are a hero.
Here's Delaney. He decides to go short, takes a chance, it pays off. Wakeland changing direction, goes out wide. Borlase has it. Healy runs at him. Borlase now chips down ground to find Simon Pedlar. And Pedlar about 85, 90 metres out. He's beyond the wing. Kicks to the forward pocket. Hodges down there, Poole as well, but a very good mark. In fact, the free kick is being paid. And it'll go to Wakeland.
He's been very good today. In fact, Windsor at fullback and Wakeland at halfback have probably been the pick of the defenders. He's done a terrific job.
13 kicks from a back pocket, chips in short. Central now are showing all the urgency that they need to in the dying stage of the qualifying final, but the kick and the pressure just paying off for Port Adelaide there as Chalmers brings it back into play up towards the 15-metre line. 3 Bulldogs and 1 Magpie. Sees Central District thump it towards the line, only as far as Malakellis. He can't get around Potter, whose tackling is superb. In goes McGowan in over the ball, and they rush it towards the line. And if you think there are some sweaty palms out in the ground, they're in the grandstand as well, and they're up here in the commentary box. The scores are tied away.
McGowan hasn't had a big day, 7 kicks, but 13 handballs. So some of those handballs not really going noticed.
12-13 apiece, nothing in this. Here's Potter. Has McKinnon if he wants him. Decided instead to go for the hand pass. It was to Pedlar. And that woman is very upset. Out of bounds on the far side.
Should let you know that if the scores are tied away at the end of the game, they'll have a 5-minute break. Then they'll play 2 5-minute pieces with a 3-minute break in between. So we could be here at midnight at the moment. We're just on the doorstep of time on. And I reckon, DB, the next score might just about be it.
I think the emotion of the next score might carry the side forward, and fans have got their money's worth today. A great double-header, and now a game that's locked away 24 and a half minutes into the final term.
And there'll be another ball up. Far side of the ground, that's on the eastern side of Football Park. It's starting to get dark. 12-13 apiece, almost into time on. What an outstanding day of football it's been. This is the qualifying final coming to you on ABC television. We hope you're enjoying the coverage wherever you may be in South Australia or the Northern Territory. Here's Jay Abbott. He's played very well. Gets the hand pass to Girdham, his captain. And Girdham now away from half-back, beyond the wing. A good-looking kick. Reimer's down there. Well done by Cook. Chance for McKinnon. Overran it. Oh, Robertson. Gee, you're playing a blinder, young man. Now a chance for McKinnon. Long kick. Lures. Almost the mark. It's going to roll through it to behind. Well, that could be critical. And the Bulldogs are in front.
Well, the only time these two sides have met in an elimination final, a qualifying final, was in 1989. Port Adelaide won that by 85 points. It's a record margin. Well, the Bulldogs are making sure this is not a record margin today.
Tight. And Delaney, I don't reckon his pulse rate's over 80. Magnificently cool. Gets it away to another experienced player in Geneva. Shorty goes and has Carter. They're mounting one, Port Adelaide. Fans are screaming. They're up off of the chairs, no doubt about that. This is Carter at halfback. Has a couple cruise by. Decides to go with a kick towards half forward. Central need to keep them out. And conversely, Port Adelaide need a big mark, and they've got it. Poole, Hull. Have a look for Hodges. Fended off Windsor this time and gives himself a chance. One take is magnificent, Scotty. Great 1%er. Great smother. Central District in numbers. They've got it to Stevens. This game is alive. Over the top he goes. You're going to be set upon. Stephen Schwerdt gets the handball to Windsor. Short pass. He goes to the middle of the ground, and they've got one spare in McGowan. Oh, gee. Get me a throaty. Half-back flank. And Central District bring it the grandstand side. Boys, I don't think you should start playing for time because there's a little bit of time left. 26 and a half minutes into the last quarter. There must be a couple of minutes. You need a goal. You need a score. And the shiny cranium of Scotty Stevens takes it just forward of centre wing. Has a look at it. Good-looking drop punt. Travels 50 metres. They hug the boundary line. Not a bad defensive ploy. Girdham gets it. On the up he goes to McGowan. He's normally pretty good from 25, and he's got it. Central are 7 points in front, if you don't mind. In the qualifying final, they're a chance to play the Eagles next week.
Well, they haven't won a final for 22 years. Extraordinary scenes here at Football Park. The Magpies went into this game as long odds-on favourites. There weren't too many who were anywhere near brave enough to pick Central District, but they're 7 points in front. There's the turnover. Very, very good by Ray Windsor. the man from the Bears, and the hand pass from Abbott. 85 to 92, 7 points in it. Port people are leaving. Port Adelaide supporters leaving, and this is one of the best finals you'd ever see.
And go. He's a smooth mover. He got it from Rowan Smith up to the full forward line. Hodges stands his ground, gets a little backhander on him. He's going to get a free kick. Courageous decision, umpire. 15 metres out. Windsor's been terrific throughout the day, and Hodges is going to get it 15 metres out. And it raises the question, Mark, the importance of the centre square. It just raced out of there so quickly and gave Hodges a one-on-one chance.
Well, the highs and lows, because Windsor was the hero about a minute ago. Here's Hodges now, directly in front.
Shouldn't miss, and doesn't. So Hodges gets his third, turns around and screams to the centre square, as if to indicate you must get it out quickly again. And if I was Central District, I would man up desperately in the centre. It's back to 1 point the difference, 13-14 to 13-13, 28.5 minutes into the qualifying final last quarter.
Incredible scenes here at Football Park, and what a wonderful qualifying final it's been. Just the 1 point in it. Central lead, 28 3/4 minutes gone, time almost out. Can Central win their first final in 22 long years? Arnold wins the tap. This is an important exit out of the centre. Huey Reimers gets the hand pass away. Darren Smith gets it across to Wakeland. A high kick up toward left half forward. Darren Smith has taken the mark. High drama here at Footy Park. And Darren Smith goes with a long bomb. It's going to be Milakelis. Oh, magnificent work by Windsor again. Windsor has played magnificent footy. That could have been the winning move. Chance now for Geneva. Gets it to Rowan Smith. And Rowan Smith into the left forward pocket again. And this time it's McKinnon.
Well, Central District have come of age. I have to say this, on balance and purely objectively, if they lose it from here, it will shatter them. Absolutely shatter them. Port Adelaide are going for premiership number 32 this year. They've won so many of them. Central, of course, haven't got one. Here's Borlase, has a look at them. Think he's just about, no, it's missed. It's 1 point, and again, the scores are tied away, so stand by for extra time. Well, I have to tell you, my heart is racing.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? So Ray Windsor, the scores are level. There he goes with a screw punt. And Darren Smith, there's the siren. And folks, we have extra time here at Football Park. Incredible scenes. It's locked away. The scores are locked away, 13-14 apiece, 92 apiece. 5 minutes of extra time, 2 halves.
5 minutes of extra time. They'll have a 5-minute break. Then they'll play 5 minutes going to the opposite end of where they just finished. They'll have a 3-minute break and they'll change straight over. There were plenty of officials looking around and wondering what was going to happen. And then the public announcement came over that it's time on. That's Greg Phillips in screen and taking up plenty of it at the moment. But Central District, well, I mean that. If they lose this from here by virtue of a Darryl Borlase late charge, then there is going to be an awful lot of shattered people at the moment at Central District. And Neville Roberts, how are you feeling over there in that hosting position?
Well, I must admit, my heart's like yours at Tracy. It's been a fantastic game. It's been full of absolutely everything. And we saw Port for what they're famous for, weren't they? They were absolutely buried and they got out of jail. We've got the rugby following, and I'll just follow instructions as to what we'll be doing. But I've got David Mackay on the boundary line. I guess if you're Alan Stewart, you'd be pretty disappointed that you weren't celebrating in the rooms right now, David. I said, if you're Alan Stewart,
that he had a victory on his hands, and then that point, that final point, just has robbed them. Now, I wonder whether they'll press on or whether that will deflate them. It's an interesting psychological thing, isn't it?
Well, it is, and I think that, you know, they rallied the first part of that last quarter. They looked very, very tired, but they rallied. They came back from, 12, 20 points down and got back in front. And even in the end there, when they were under enormous pressure, Windsor and Arader and those players, they got to the fall of the ball. I think they've still got it in them, and I think we're going to see another 5 minutes of super footy.
I think they're playing on emotion now. They just asked me. They weren't 100% sure what was going to happen. I told them what the breaks were, that we'd be playing 2 5-minute quarters. They're ready for it. They've sent down for their crew upstairs. They're getting everybody organised. I don't know what the Port Adelaide camp is doing because I haven't been down there, but they'd be doing exactly the same thing.
Stephen Trigg, for mine, I've never played extra time in any football over 15 years. I don't know as a coach whether you've ever had to coach it, but maybe you can answer that. And secondly, what if, whether you have or not, what would Stuart and what would Cale be doing to prepare them now?
In answer to the first question, I would have loved to have got close enough a few times to have played in a tied game, but thanks for asking. And in the second instance, Neville, I think that the only thing that they can say at the moment is they've got to work on their heads, because the work rate is critical to this outfit now. In the next 10 minutes, they've got 5 going one way and 5 minutes going the other. They just have to have their heads in the right place and make themselves work, because if they can get first possession of the ball, Mark Aston, it will make a world of difference.
Stephen, would the Central boys be feeling bitterly disappointed knowing that they had the game almost in their keeping and knowing they were 7 points up, or not?
Absolutely, and as I said through the dying stages just before siren time, that if Central were to lose this, they're going to be terribly deflated. I guess that they're still not out of it, but you'd have to back Port Adelaide now on the basis that they are the more settled side. They are the side that has the personnel, but Central District, gee, they've been gallant throughout the day, and we're meant to be well balanced on this, but you have to feel for Central at the moment in terms of just 30 seconds before the end of that game, they had it tied up. One entry from the centre square area, a quick exit, and Port Adelaide scored the goal. And then Borlase, of course, that point was just so critical. Here's the spoil from Windsor. It was so gallant. Look at that. Malakellis thought that he had it.
Just asked them whether they want me back up
and
there for
then
10 minutes.
Into the forward line went Rowan Smith. And the second spoil came from McKinnon, way up over the top, smashed it towards the line. I thought at that stage that they might have just about had it. But how often, Mark, do you see it happen that Port Adelaide just keep coming?
Absolutely incredible. And Borlase, of course, could have ended all of the agony if he had have scored from, what, about 35 metres out. There's Alan Stewart and the Central bench. And let's have a look at the goal kickers. Ginniver 3, Hodges 3, Malakellis and Borlase 2 apiece, Richardson and Cook 2 apiece for Central.
There's a big buzz going around this ground. This is the only football in South Australia that you'll see beamed live on ABC Sport. And umpire Mick Abbott has the ball in hand. Ron Bettridge, I'm sure that between them they'd be just a little edgy as well. It's almost like the start of the game. Under lights, and a big roar goes up. 92 points apiece. We'll have 5 minutes of this going in one direction. Central to the left of screen. Arnold gets it up there. This is a great test of character. Robertson off of the ground. He boots it forward. Cook with pace. Who's going to be first there? Well done by Robertson. He kicked that football, so how's that for a follow-up? Spalding gets there first, shovels it towards the line. It rolls, and in front of Mark Tyler, dual Ken Farmer medalist himself, it dribbles across the line, and there's some tension in the crowd, I can promise you that.
So high drama here at Football Park, and we hope you're enjoying this coverage on ABC Sport. We're enjoying bringing it to you. There's the throw in, left forward pocket, Chalmers. Ginniver there as well, and they tie it up. Smack bang in the middle, right in front of the Central District goals.
It'll do their confidence an enormous amount of good. Give them a great boost if they can get a score here.
And the rugby will follow in probably about 15 minutes or so. Lewis has the footy, but they've got him. Lewis again gets it out. Reimers, high kick. Huey's kick into the forward pocket, too far. It's out of bounds on the full, and Roger the Dodger Delaney will take the free kick.
(13-14) apiece. I still don't reckon that his heart rate would get up very high in this situation. Roger Delaney, he's been around for a long time, he's pretty cool. Dodging and weaving like a shadow boxer is Scott Stevens. He gets it around the body. Frenetic little worker. Here's Tim Cook. Right leg or left, it doesn't matter for him. He's been well drilled. Gets it off hands, does Robertson. Hands it straight back to Ginniver. He's also cool in the crisis. Across the face of goals he goes. Now there'll be 2 Port players versus 1 Central, and that's Healy. Support from Delaney, and it's well done again by Reimers. Thumps it towards the line. They keep it in play. Healy feigns he's going to be set upon, gets the handball to McGowan. Needs to settle down. He gets the handball away. There's nothing quite clear enough for them at the moment. Well done by Girdham inside to Cook. He should nail this one from 10 metres out, and he has. First blood for the Bulldogs. 14-14 to 13-14. Cook gets his third. We're a couple of minutes into this extra time.
We talked about the emotion of the Bulldogs coming back from 16 points down at three-quarter time to lead by 7 and then lock it away. There was either going to be a letdown where they'd just be pulverised now, or they were going to be steely determined, and I think that's the way they've come out. Their resolve is terrific, and they're attacking every ball as though their life depended on it.
So the margin out to 6 points in extra time. History in the making here. And, of course, the rugby to follow after this game is completed in about, I would think, probably 15 minutes. That's if they're not tied away after the extra time. Here's Hugh Reimers, attacking side of centre. Play on, the umpire says, and Huey goes with a long kick down to Cook territory, and he's got it in front of George Fiarchi. Now, young Cook slips over, has to play on, puts it up high, looking for lures. One-on-one situation, well done by Tyler at the back. McKay and also Cook again close to the line. There'll be a throw-in.
AFL scouts will be having a good look at this game, as they do most South Australian games, but you have to admit that in a pressure-packed situation like this, you're going to find out who can play.
Yes, reputations are made and lost in this sort of environment.
Chalmers gets the thump away. Look at that. This is hard work. Please appreciate that. This is very, very hard work. It's a test of mental strength as McGowan gets it to Chopper Hanley. Wastes no time. Gets it in short. Way up over the top went Wakeland. He's very athletic. Taken off hands by the classy Hull. Deft little handball. Through to Spalding. Port Adelaide are mounting something. You just sense that they can get something going here as they go inside the half-forward line. They leap on it. Great mark. Is taken by one of the best on the ground in Ray Windsor. Have another look at that.
I think he's had a terrific game.
Magnificent mark in a pressure situation. Stephen Schwert gets it at half-back. You think the patrons haven't got their money's worth today. All 21,000 of them. They've got a double header, and they've got now what you'd call a fifth quarter. To half-forward. Robertson can take it off hands. He was looking for the option. Robertson thought that he was going to give it off. 1 minute to go in this first part of the extra time. Down towards half-forward in the 50-metre line. The Port Adelaide defence holding firm. Tylor. Fiarchi. It's going to be a very quick 5 minutes, isn't it? Chalmers. They've got players everywhere. Where's the red, white and blue? Here's Olsen through the middle of the ground. They need to close them down. Olsen to half-forward. Well done by Hodges. Took it out of the air. Got it back to Poole. Hodges gets around too easily. Has a look. Could square the scores up again. And has. This is one of the best games of football you'll ever see. 14-14 apiece. And we're inside 10 seconds of this last, or fifth, if you like, quarter.
4 goals to Hodges. And he was the player that put them back into contention late in the final term when he won the free kick. Now he brings them back from the brink again and scores are locked away. He really is a champion. Right when they need him, he produces for the Magpies.
4 goals to Scott Hodges. Back in the centre, 14-14 apiece. In extra time here at Football Park. Chance for Schwert, can't pick up. Player there to assist. It's Healy. And there'll be a ball up. I get the feeling it's 5 minutes plus time on, fellas.
Must be.
Because we're over the 5-minute mark now.
You'll have a minute of time on, Mark.
Very congested area. Here's Robertson. Gee whiz, hasn't he played a blinder? Huey Reimers, magnificent half volley. That was terrific. Gave it to Gurdon, who got into all sorts of trouble, the skipper. He really needed to take that on the first occasion. Reimers loses it. As a result, now McKay kicks to the far side. Good stuff by McKay. Have a look at Stevens, though, raising a gallop. Accelerating over the turf. Gives it back to McGowan, one of the favourites for the Magarey medal. Short chip passes on. Robertson, who's playing magnificent footy. Kicks outside 50. Let's see if it's a score. Oh, goal! No, it's a behind. Now we'll see if that stands.
Well, the goal umpire's racing out to the field umpire to find out whether that's okay and whether he's got the all clear. But the field umpire will tell him that no, he'd already signalled time off.
You reckon he signalled time off before the ball was kicked?
No. No, I wouldn't think so, fellas.
Well, it's an interesting point, of course. Players now deciding that they'll come back to the middle. There's plenty of controversy here at Football Park, and what an irony this is, of course. We're in Melbourne this afternoon. Scores were tied away between North Melbourne and Hawthorn, and they went to extra time. And here at Football Park, in the qualifying final, we're halfway through extra time. We've got another 5 minutes and time on to play with our switch ends. Central players are in the middle of the ground, and they really want to have a go at the umpire. They reckon that point should have counted. Well, they've got another 5 and a bit minutes ahead of them, and they need to concentrate on the work in the next 5 minutes.
Well, let's have a look at it. Let's see when the siren goes and when the kick is completed. Here's Robertson. There's the siren. The ball's in the air. Now, the question is whether the field umpire signals time off while the ball was in the air or on the ground before it actually got to the goal line.
Well, it was certainly very close, and Central certainly with a claim on it. And Neville Roberts chewing the fingernails over there, big guy.
Yes, it's just one of those freaks of sport, isn't it, that we've had 5 minutes of time on and the scores are still tied away. Now, on that point, I think it is a mistake. If the ball is kicked prior to the siren and the umpire blowing time on, then the score should be allowed, and that might get more airing during the week. The scores are tied away at 14-14, 98 each. They've got 5 minutes of play to go. There's been nothing between them all day, but I guess what surprised us all here, and maybe Stephen Trigg, I could throw it at you, that Central, 1 in 6, a real hiccup, a rocky ride, if you like, to the finals against Port, who have just been so steady and so fantastic. To produce this form in a final has been quite spectacular.
Well, it's all in the head, isn't it? Because it's basically the same group of guys who were rampaging their way through the middle part of the year. At one stage, out of 8 games, they had an average winning margin of 85 points. They had their percentage way up in the 50s, and they were murdering sides. Then they had a little hiccup, as you say, and I think that probably it correlated with the fact that they were in 2nd or 3rd spot, Neville, and they just couldn't be tipped out, and they've roller coasted their way through. The mental application today has been much better from them, and as a consequence, they've played beautifully. But I just get the feeling at the moment that Port Adelaide, Neville, still are the steadiers.
That's right, and David, at three-quarter time, we did speak about Ray Windsor and Scotty Hodges, that battle. And Ray Windsor has been absolutely fantastic, but on the other hand, you'd have to put Scotty in their best players.
Well, I wouldn't put Scott Hodges in Port Adelaide's best 8 players. I've got to say that Windsor's done a spectacular job. And I think Hodges today, I know you haven't seen a lot of the match, but he hasn't done the things that we really know he can, and that's attack and split a pack and set up opportunities for other teammates.
What about Robertson's game? Hasn't it been outstanding since he's come on?
Well, we mentioned that Malakalis and Geneva had been dominating in the forward area. Now, Robertson has had 11 kicks, 6 handballs and 4 marks.
Since halfway through the 3rd quarter.
Since halfway through the 3rd quarter. He has turned the little man strength around, and Cook has come into his own with a bit of support from Robertson.
Goal kickers on the left of screen. Scotty Hodges, despite being well blanketed, as you say, David, has 4. Geneva has 3. Borlase and Malakalis 2 each.
And Cook has 3 for Central. Richardson 2. Reimers, Robertson with 1 apiece.
Now look at that. Central District have had clearly a lot more of the ball in kicks and marks and handballs. So they just haven't converted on the scoreboard particularly well.
Second half of extra time about to get underway. An extraordinary final here as Alan Stewart watches on with his charges. And I wonder just how the old ticker would be going in, Alan.
I wouldn't be melodramatic about this, but this is one of the most critical 5 minutes in the history of the Central District Football Club, dating back to 1964.
Umpire Ron Bettridge about to get things underway. You're watching this on ABC Sport live right around the state and in the Northern Territory. A critical 5 minutes. Here's Geneva getting Port Adelaide moving. Rowan Smith down there. Chance for Mackay. Whips the hand past to Poole. Malakalis ran straight into a Central District player. And
McGowan it was.
Yes, McGowan's down. He's okay though, but gee, Malakalis was off.
Well, the scores are even after extra time. We've had 1 period of extra time. We've got 4.5 minutes of play left to decide who goes and tackles the Eagles in the second semi-final and who takes on Norwood in the first semi-final.
Poole takes it out of the air, gets it to Malakalis. He's going to be well claimed. Great pressure down there. There's red alert signals going everywhere for the Central defence, and that's the result. Great pressure by the Magpies, and they fumble it and bumble it, and in the end the boot went to the ball and it went over the line. So Mackay gets it from 55 metres out, perhaps 50. Shunts it right up towards the line. Watch for Hodges, front spot. A bevy of Central District players back there. They won't want to concede the point now, and Windsor finds the line. Good option.
It's no other option at this stage. No point giving away a point. And look at the Port Adelaide people.
Extraordinary, isn't it, that in Victoria we can have a game that goes into extra time in exactly the same situation, one of the qualifying finals, and here in South Australia just the same.
So still nothing in it. Arnold knocks it down. Rowan Smith in the back pocket, looking to give it off, gives it to Darren Smith. High kick, McKinnon getting underneath it. Hodges, no, it was Hull. Chance now for Malakalis, swings round, kicks. Good kick by Malakalis, a score will do. His 3rd goal, Port Adelaide in front. About 3 minutes to go, a critical one. 15-14 to 14-14.
Malakalis has been an Achilles heel for the Bulldogs all year. In the games they've played, it's been Malakalis who really has got the Magpies going, and today he's finishing off for them. 2 goals in the second quarter really set it up for them, and now he finishes off with the goal that puts them ahead. There's only 3 minutes, 4 minutes maybe to go, and the Magpies are in front.
Don't forget that the Rugby League will follow. We're going well into the next program, but please stay with us because this is an enthralling battle. Bulldogs gets it out of the centre square towards half forward. Central District now needs some character. They need to close them down. Alan Stewart would be beside himself on the bench at the moment as McKinnon comes off of halfback. Reinstated into the side today and has played a fabulous game of football from halfback. This is Reimers to half forward. You need to stand your ground, Ricky. He does just that. McGowan, left leg, chips it in. Lewis will lunge at this ball. Catapults himself at it. Can't quite get the handball away. Magnificent tackle from Mark Tyler at halfback.
Could be the match-winning tackle. A throw, according to the umpire. He goes short across the face of goal to Delaney. And now Delaney takes a bounce and another one. And then decides to go with a long left foot kick out very wide to Spalding and Robertson. Robertson has played very well. Spalding knocks it down ground about 25 metres. Then kicks off the ground another 40 metres and does very well indeed. And the ball just trickles over the line. Time running out now. 1 goal the difference. The Magpies in front.
Plenty of anxiety, but spare a thought for the players. They've been at it for about 140 minutes. And there was plenty of anxiety down in the rooms before the game, plenty of nervous energy. They would have been dog-tired at the end of it. Now they'd be exhausted. This is Borlase in towards half-forward. Hodges sets himself and marks it with 3 so far. I made mention last week that I felt that he might be the difference between Port Adelaide and a premiership. Between a premiership and something else, and just maybe that's how it will pan out.
Well, he's taken so many marks this year, Stephen, but none more important than this one.
Hodges with 4. If he finishes with 5, it will have been a workmanlike performance. I think he's missed.
I don't think it matters too much.
But it's 2 scoring shots, is what you're alluding to. ABC Sport on the scoreboard shows you that it's 15-15 to 14-14. Scott Hodges, I think, might have a broken nose out of today, but he's still got 4 goals to his credit.
Here's the kick by the fullback for Central District. Scotty Stevens about to run onto it. McKay gets it across to Darren Smith. The Magpies in front, they have the ascendancy. Here's Potter, sweeps the hand pass back, gives it to Gurdon. Now Abbott, and Abbott from the defensive side at centre. Long kick to Huey Reimers. Get on with it, son. You haven't got a lot of time. He does exactly that. Long bomb inside 50. A chance for a score here for Central District. If only they can get the footy out. Was he leg? No. Here's Tim Cook. Short little chip. Not effective, though. They didn't get a score out of it. Cook's taking an age to get up. In the meantime, Carter swings it out wide. One gets the feeling Port Adelaide are home here. And there's the kick. 5 minutes we've been playing. Up goes Herrera at the back, but a terrific mark taken by Poole. He hand passes across to Rowan Smith, and Melachellis takes it. And Port Adelaide fans rejoicing. Melachellis tucked away in the right forward pocket. Poole's hand pass a beauty. Rowan Smith's kick terrific. And Melachellis did not let him down. So Tony Melachellis from about 35 metres out, right forward pocket. There's the kick. It's going to hold up. Big Hodges! That's it. What a time to take a mark.
Well, he looks sore, doesn't he? But he is a champ. A McGarry medal under the belt. Port Adelaide have won. The siren's gone. It's just a matter of by how much. There's 7 points in front at the moment. One suspects they'll blow it out to 13 here when Hodges gets his 5th goal for the night, for the day and the night. And that is one of the most remarkable games of football I have ever seen. 2 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, and if you like, 1 in the 5th and 1 in the 6th. 2 periods of extra time, and he kicked 1 in each of them. The Port Adelaide players rejoice. And Mark Aston has joined me throughout the afternoon. And Mark, I know that this will be no consolation to Central players who are disconsolate at the moment, as you see. But if anything, when they lose, they are basically to be applauded for a great outing.
So Port Adelaide, Stephen, to take on the Eagles in the 2nd semi-final.